Imagine a life where you stay calm and collected no matter what, whether you're managing the stress of balancing work and family, feeling overwhelmed by the daily news cycle, or dealing with the pressures of financial planning. This is the peace and resilience that Stoicism can bring into your life. Stoicism teaches that our true power lies in controlling our own thoughts and actions. External forces, like the weather, the economy, or others' actions, are beyond our control. When we embrace this truth, we let go of the stress and frustration that come from trying to manage the uncontrollable. But Stoicism isn't just about understanding these truths. It's about actively shaping our character and behavior to live a virtuous life. This commitment to personal growth brings a deep sense of peace that isn't shaken by external events. In this guide, we'll dive into 10 essential Stoic lessons to help you find inner peace and emotional stability. We'll revisit these principles in various ways, emphasizing how repeated practice and reflection can deeply embed these ideas into your daily life. Let's start this journey of self-discovery together, diving into the teachings of Stoicism. We'll explore how these timeless lessons can help us achieve ultimate peace of mind and maintain our composure and strength no matter what challenges come our way. Accept what you can control is the first lesson. Stoic philosophy is based on the dilemma of control, which Epictetus, the teacher, teaches us as its central principle. At the heart of this teaching is the idea that our lives are divided into parts we can control and parts we can't. Even in the midst of life's uncertainties, this idea is crucial for maintaining a calm and collected attitude. Epictetus, in essence, tells us to focus our energy and attention on the parts of life that we can actually control. These are things like our thoughts, words, acts, plans, and reactions. We can move through life with a sense of purpose and success if we focus on what we can really control. Being calm comes from realizing that we are in charge of our own inner world. External events and circumstances, on the other hand, are often out of our control and should be recognized as such. Epictetus shows that a shooter can aim carefully, draw the bowstring precisely, and release the shot skillfully, but still not know how it will fly. In the same way, we need to learn to let go of our connection to events we can't control. Allowing yourself to let go is not a sign of giving up. It's a way to accept that life is unpredictable. This powerful image from Epictetus of the archer who is happy knowing they gave it their all, no matter what happened to the target, is a powerful reminder of the Stoic way of living. Focusing on our goals and the hard work we put in, while knowing that the results will depend on many outside factors, is what this quote suggests. Stoicism, in essence, tells us to take charge of our inner world and use the tension between control and lack of control as a potent tool to stay calm and collected in a world where many things are out of our control. By focusing on what we can change, we free ourselves from the frustration of trying to control things that we can't. This lets us find serenity in knowing that we did everything we could with the tools we had at our disposal. The power of acceptance is the second lesson. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, stands out as one of the most significant people in Stoic philosophy. People all over the world still think about and quote his Meditations, which are often seen as a timeless masterpiece of deep wisdom. They show one of the most important lessons in Stoicism, the lesson of acceptance. Marcus Aurelius takes us on a deep look into what it means to be human, recognizing that both success and failure are inevitable. He sees that life is a steady ebb and flow of ups and downs, like a melody. Although the environment is always changing, there are some things we can't change or control. Marcus Aurelius, as a Stoic teacher, praises the virtue of taking these facts that can't be changed. In the Stoic sense, to accept means to accept that life is unpredictable and short-lived. It means letting go of the chains that hold you back from certain results and walking in sync with the universe's steady beat. Marcus Aurelius said that fighting against the way things should happen only causes trouble and chaos. The Stoic view of acceptance is analogous to setting sail on the sea of existence without a set goal, but with unshakable confidence in the journey itself, like a ship fighting against the persistent current. You are being asked to let go of the need for absolute control and instead flow with the ever-changing flow of life, to dance to the music of the universe, no matter how calm or stormy the notes are. Stoic temperance is exemplified by this. In the world of Stoicism, this lesson is the key to finding peace and calm inside. It tells us to be open to the unpredictable parts of life, enjoy the sweetness of success, and handle the storms of bad luck with grace. Marcus Aurelius showed us that the power of acceptance is like a lighthouse that helps us find our way through the maze of existence. It enables us to face every moment and situation with a calm heart. It is the serenity of accepting life in all of its unpredictability and finding deep serenity in the midst of its constantly changing scenery. Practice mindfulness for Lesson 3. For those wanting tranquility and composure in the midst of life's storms, Seneca, the ancient Stoic philosopher whose wisdom has stood the test of time, offers a crucial lesson. Practice awareness. Mindfulness is a guide that directs us to the beaches of the present moment, providing refuge from the never-ending chaos of regrets from the past and fears about the future, according to the Stoic tradition. Mindfulness is the art of living in the present moment with full awareness in its essence. It helps people who suffer from fixation, which is when their minds keep going over past hurts and worries about the future. He said that Stoics should honor the beauty and depth of the present moment, because that is the only time that has real existence. According to Seneca, awareness is not just about the amazing things that happen in life, it also includes the normal, everyday things. It reminds us to look closely at all the threads of life, from the amazing to the seemingly unimportant. By doing this, we free ourselves from the painful grips of regret and the crippling grips of worry. Being stoic and aware is a great way to keep your mind clear and calm. It also helps you connect to the present moment and its deep simplicity. It's an art form that helps us fully experience the present moment, to enjoy every breath, and to appreciate the beauty that happens in every beating. In the practice of mindfulness, we find a timeless refuge where the mind finds comfort, a place where inner calm is developed and composure is grown in the midst of the ebb and flow of existence. Lesson 4. Build up your resilience. The lessons of resilience are like a resounding anthem in the vast landscape of Stoic wisdom. Epictetus, the most famous Stoic philosopher, raises his voice to teach us the deep art of facing hardship with unwavering courage. Epictetus thought that trouble was not something to be afraid of, but something that shapes us into the best versions of ourselves. Stoicism, which has its roots in the way things are in the natural world, teaches that problems are what make existence worth living. As examples of this wisdom, Stoics don't see hardship as a problem or a cause of pain. Instead, they see it as a chance, a furnace that makes them stronger. Epictetus tells us not to give up when life gets rough, but to stand firm like an oak tree that doesn't bend in the wind. The essence of this Stoic viewpoint is the deep understanding that what makes us upset is not the events themselves, but rather our perceptions, responses, and decisions when faced with difficulty. The way we see the hard things in life shapes how calm we feel inside. To cultivate endurance in the Stoic tradition, one must pursue personal growth and learn to see hardship as a teacher rather than a punishment. Stoicism teaches us that our true strength is tested in the fire of suffering. It is by facing life's problems with courage and unshakable determination that we emerge like steel, our character stronger from the hardships we have been through. When things go wrong, the Stoic view of things fits perfectly with the Stoic belief in free will. Epictetus, who was very wise, tells us to face problems not with fear, but with the bravery of a fighter, because how we react to things going on around us determines how we keep our inner peace and calm. The ability to be strong is what gives Stoics the ability to look straight ahead through life's rough waters, even when things are going badly. Choose your reaction to Lesson 5. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus, whose wisdom has been passed down through the ages, leaves us a deep lesson of great value. We have the power to choose how to react. This lesson is like a rock that can't be broken in the Stoic philosophy. It's like a signal that shows us the way through the rough waters of existence. Epictetus tells us the truth with unshakable conviction. We may not be able to control the tides of outside events, but we can control how we react to them. This is what he says is the essence of Stoic wisdom. The center of control is clearly inside the Stoic chamber, where peace and composure are king. Stoicism, a philosophy based on deep self-mastery, praises how we are in charge of how we react to life's many obstacles. The Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance shine like guiding stars in this holy place, lighting the way to inner peace. With his wise advice, Epictetus asks us to think about how we make decisions and act, especially when we are going through hard times. By looking inside ourselves, we become aware of the deep truth that we have the holy gift of freedom, which means we can choose how to react to the many outside events that happen in our lives. The Stoic way of dealing with life's ups and downs is like a masterpiece on the painting of existence. It is the decision to respond to life's challenges with the Stoic virtues, the courage of heroes, the justice of good hearts, and the temperance of those who walk the path of inner control. The wisdom of Epictetus is carried by the Stoic, making it a fortress of inner peace that can withstand even the strongest storms. We build a shield that protects our serenity in the face of hardship through deliberate choice and agreement with Stoic virtues. To get through the confusing paths of life with grace and strength is what the Stoics say, because it is in the furnace of conscious choice that we find lasting inner peace. Lesson 6. Control your strong desires. Seneca's advice on the Stoic principle of balance is a gem in and of itself in the magnificent embroidery of Stoic wisdom, which is made with threads of reason and virtue. Seneca, a wise man known for his deep philosophy writings on virtue and personal growth, gives us a lesson that is very important. We need to control the strong wants that often threaten to overwhelm our inner peace. Stoicism is based on the idea that strong wants, like rough seas, can throw our lives off course and make us unhappy all the time. The Stoic thinkers were always trying to find inner peace. They knew how dangerous it is to want money, power, and other things that aren't necessary for living a life of virtue and wisdom. In line with the Stoic philosophy, Seneca shares his wisdom, which is based on the idea that true happiness can be found in the safety of confined wants. This lesson teaches us to use balance as a compass to travel the maze-like passageways of existence and arrive at the calm port of inner peace. Seneca's wisdom shows us that the Stoic road tells us to simplify our wants and look for only what we need for a good and virtue-filled life. By making things simpler, we can find the valuable gems of happiness and peace, which are not affected by the whims of outside luck. The Stoic practice of putting limits on strong wants serves as the compass, allowing one to stay cool and collected. The deep truth is hidden within the walls of this old wisdom. The passionate search for outward riches is but a passing dream, and the real treasures are hidden within, waiting to be found. Seneca's lessons are a lasting example of the Stoic dedication to inner control and the temperance of wants, paving the way for the holy place of inner peace. Be virtuous, according to Lesson 7. The essence of virtue, as promoted and treasured by the great Stoic thinkers such as Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, is a dedication to virtue that is at the core of this old philosophy. The Stoic virtues of temperance, justice, courage, and wisdom serve as our guide, pointing us in the direction of a life of inner peace and calm. The virtues are an important part of Stoic wisdom's rich weave. They are the moral compass points that tell us how to handle life's rough waters with grace and wisdom. Stoics have thought about these virtues for a very long time. They are not just ideas. They are what the Stoic goal of living in harmony with the natural order of the world is built on. As a lighthouse, wisdom shines on the road of reason and insight. It is the first of these virtues. It encourages us to cultivate a thorough knowledge of the world and our place in it. Sages who were Stoic, like Epictetus, knew that all other virtues are built on top of wisdom. With wisdom as our compass, we can see the world as it really is and tell the difference between things that will pass away and things that will last. The second virtue is courage, which is like a guardian angel watching over our moral character. It urges us to be strong and determined as we face the difficulties of life. The Stoic definition of bravery is overcoming fear, not being afraid. Being able to face problems with inner strength is what it means to be determined. In his writings, Seneca talks a lot about how important courage is for building a strong, determined personality. When it comes to being right, the third virtue, justice, covers the Stoic road. To live by the rules of what is fair and morally right is what it calls us to do. The Stoic thinkers lead us to make choices that are based on fairness and virtue by drawing from the sources of justice. The search for justice makes sure that our actions are in line with the moral order of the world, which helps us feel calm and peaceful. Moderation and self-control are watched over by the last virtue, temperance. It tells us to control our wants because temperance is the key to finding true happiness. In his psychological writings, Seneca stresses how important it is to keep our wants simple and only seek what is necessary for a good life. With the temperance of wants, we find the source of inner peace, no matter what is going on around us. Several Stoic thinkers pushed these virtues, which come together to make a life that fits the Stoic ideal. They show us the way through life's rough waters with grace, wisdom, and an unwavering sense of peace. By committing to these virtues and letting them affect our thoughts and actions, we stay cool and collected, which is a reflection of the Stoic commitment to living an honest life. The virtues are the vivid colors that make up the painting of Stoicism, which depicts a life lived in harmony with the eternal truth of the universe. Lesson 8. Recognize that life is temporary. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, explores the essence of life, which is one that is full of change, in his deep and timeless meditations. His lessons are a testament to the wisdom that accepting the ever-changing nature of existence is a key component of remaining collected and calm. Marcus Aurelius teaches us something that may be one of the most important lessons for finding inner serenity through the view of Stoicism. He wants us to go on an intellectual journey that includes recognizing that some things in life are temporary and won't last. The Stoic acceptance of this fact, which is sometimes called the transitory nature of life, is not a sign of hopelessness. Rather, it is a source of strength that can give our existence greater meaning. Understanding that nothing in human experience is fixed is at the heart of this lesson. This includes both the happy times and the hard times. Because the world is always rising and falling, it is like a fabric that is always changing. The Stoic sage decides to move along with this cosmic dance rather than oppose it. With great ease and wisdom, Marcus Aurelius tells us to let go of our ties to the passing moments that pass like stars in the night sky, and the things that only hold our attention for a short time. It is his job to teach us how to enjoy these things and moments as they come into our lives, and how to let them go when the time comes. By doing this, we find an inner refuge of peace and calm that is not affected by the storms outside. Marcus Aurelius spoke out in favor of accepting that everything changes. This is good for the soul. It gives us a bigger picture of the ups and downs of life and frees us from the anxiety that comes from holding on to what was or what could have been. By learning this Stoic teaching, we build our own inner strength and make ourselves strong enough to handle the changes that come with life. After realizing that everything in life is temporary, we can feel deeply calm inside. We know that our ability to stay cool and collected is independent of the ups and downs of outside situations. In the same way that the stars keep shining in the night sky, even when clouds pass in front of them, this presence will last. Through his Stoic wisdom, Marcus Aurelius asks us to bask in the light of this understanding. He gives us the chance to enjoy life's moments while keeping our inner peace. The importance of thanks is covered in Lesson 9. The worth of thanks is a gem that shines with deep understanding in the complex fabric of Stoic philosophy, which is stitched with strings of wisdom and fortitude. Seneca, one of the great thinkers of Stoicism, pushed this lesson as the way to find inner peace and happiness, no matter what life throws at you. Thanks helps us enjoy both the good and bad things in life, because it's through thanks that we can find serenity even when things are bad. Seneca skillfully praised gratitude's virtues in his essays on the idea. He told us to look at what we have instead of what we might not have, to find comfort in the present, and to appreciate the little things that we often overlook. By practicing Stoicism, we find a powerful way to keep a deep sense of inner peace. There is a gentle reminder in Seneca's teachings about gratitude that being thankful doesn't depend on how much we have, but on how well we can see life's blessings in all their different forms. In this way, being thankful is more than just a reaction to the good times in life. It is a deep recognition that even in the midst of the storm, there is a safe place to be calm. By learning to be thankful, we change how we interact with life. We learn to find beauty in the everyday, lessons in hardship, and the value in every moment that passes. Seneca tells us to be happy with the present, and remember that the best things in life are not things we can buy, but events we should enjoy. Thanks to Seneca, we can be sure that being grateful will keep our inner peace. It teaches us to constantly reflect on the good fortune that has accompanied us on our journey. As a result, we learn that gratitude is a magic potion that turns the base parts of sadness and hunger into the gold of happiness and serenity. A heart full of thanks doesn't give up when things get hard. It finds strength even in the midst of trouble because it knows that life's problems are also lessons. When things get hard, a Stoic spirit doesn't give up. Instead, it grows, getting food from the deep well of thanks. Gratitude is a constant partner in the Stoic philosophy that leads to a deep sense of peace. The serenity that comes from accepting the blessings, no matter how small or unimportant they may seem, lifts us above the turbulent waves of life. Seneca's wisdom helps us understand that being grateful isn't just a reaction to the good things in life. It's a way of embracing the beauty that can be found in the hard times as well. We have chances to find the gifts of thanks every time we breathe, every time our hearts beat, and every moment that passes. Seneca's Stoic teachings tell us to enjoy the present, not because of life's problems, but because of them, and to take in the beauty around us. We find a deep sense of peace and calm in this wonderful practice, even in the midst of the storms of existence. Lesson 10. Continue to learn and advance. The deep fabric of Stoicism, where wisdom is mixed with strings of fortitude and temperance, calls us to set out on a lifelong path of self-improvement. Epictetus, one of the greats of Stoicism, is a reliable guide in this quest, showing that the way to inner peace and calm is made with the steps of personal growth. One theme that runs through the philosophy of Stoicism is the dedication to self-improvement. This theme is shared by many Stoic thinkers. It is Epictetus who holds the torch of this lesson with unshakable belief. He asks us to follow a road of constant growth and stresses, that this pledge is a treasure trove of wisdom that will help us handle life's difficulties with grace and insight. This Stoic philosophy is based on the deep understanding that life is a journey that never stops. We are not fixed things. Rather, we are containers of possibility that are constantly open to evolution. An unwavering call to action, the dedication to lifelong learning and growth, serves as a constant reminder that no matter where we are, there are still new worlds to discover and virtues to cultivate. Self-improvement as a Stoic goal fits well with the search for wisdom and peace. It means realizing that inner peace and calm are not fixed qualities, but changing things that are made better by always trying to understand. Knowing that wisdom is the direction that leads us through the maze of existence, Epictetus advises us to pursue it with the same zeal as we would a valuable gem. In the urban flow of life's events, the Stoic journey of self-improvement finds its heart. They don't want us to be perfect. They want us to move forward, not stay the same. They want us to grow steadily. This Stoic lesson echoes through the halls of wisdom, reminding us that there is no final goal, only a never-ending journey to become better people. By accepting this lesson, we learn how to deal with the problems we face in life with strength and resolve. Finding strength in the quest for growth, which is often sparked by hardship, is what the Stoic spirit does. We learn that failures are not obstacles, but stepping stones, and that every pain serves as a guide. Being committed to learning and growing throughout life is like a lighthouse in the storm. It helps you stay cool when life gets tough. The fact that we are in charge of our own inner world, no matter what is going on around us, is proof of the Stoic principle. When we learn something new, we grow, and when we grow, we get better at handling life's storms. As we listen to the lessons of Epictetus, we are invited to welcome the path of self-improvement, to enjoy the learning process, and to value the work of growth. We can be sure that every step we take on this path brings us closer to the heart of Stoicism, which is a life marked by inner calm, control, and the search for wisdom. Even though the world is full of distractions and unknowns, Stoicism is a timeless and useful way to stay cool and collected. You can handle life's difficulties with grace, wisdom, and inner peace if you follow these 10 lessons from Stoicism, which are influenced by the wisdom of various Stoic thinkers and represent the virtue of temperance. Stoic temperance serves as your center, leading you through the ups and downs of existence and assisting you in remaining composed in the face of difficulty. When you follow these Stoic lessons, you find a deep peace and calmness that helps you do well in life, no matter what problems you face. Stoicism's timeless wisdom tells us that inner peace and calmness are not based on outward events, but rather are something we can cultivate within ourselves. You discover the gifts of thanks, fortitude, and growth by putting these important lessons into practice, and you create a life full of virtue and serenity. Ever feel like you're about to explode during a heated argument? Whether it's a fight at work, with a friend or family member, or on the internet, we've all been there. But what if I told you there was a way to deal with disagreements that didn't involve fists? Stoics, who lived in ancient times and were great at controlling their emotions and using reason, have amazing advice on how to face your enemy with grace and poise. Now, let's look at 13 Stoic-inspired methods for dealing with conflict directly, based on the wisdom of great minds such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Trust me, these methods may take more time and care than punching someone, but the benefits, peace of mind, long-lasting answers, and maybe even new relationships, are well worth it. Remember that the most important win is not in fights with other people, but in controlling your mind and heart. The first thing you should do is dig deep into your enemy. Imagine you are on the edge of a very angry river. The rapids are roaring and roiling with anger. If you were a smart Stoic, you would wait before jumping in, and your eyes would be on the deep below, not the surface that is moving. The first Stoic strategy is all about getting into your opponent's head. To use a figure of speech, the seriousness of the situation makes it tempting to move quickly. To really understand something, though, you have to stop judging it and look deeper than what it seems to be about. Epictetus said, "It is not the event itself that bothers us, but how we think about it." To begin our study of Stoicism, let's look at the benefits of letting go. Take a step back from the present moment, take a big breath in, and mentally stretch out. Then look at the situation with an open mind. As a fly on the wall, listen to the conversation without taking sides. This mental separation makes it easier to observe and think more clearly. If you want to know their why, ask them serious questions instead of making cases against them. Focus on finding out what makes them say and do the things they do. What worries them, what drives them, and what do they want? What events in their lives have changed how they feel? Asking open-ended questions like, "What brought you to this point?" or "What are your underlying concerns?" can help you understand them better, not because you agree with them, but because you care about them. Put yourself in their shoes to understand their point of view, not to agree with what they're doing. How do you think they might see the situation? How do their beliefs and values drive them? The goal of this task is to help you understand how they feel, find common ground, and see the world through their eyes. Don't agree with them. Instead, look for the hidden stream. Check out what's below the top. A lot of the time, conflict comes from deeper issues like fears, unmet wants, or hurts from the past. You might want to look past the current fight and figure out what the real problems are that are causing the conflict. What do you want to get done? What fears are coming up? Remember that this is an attempt to understand their behavior, not to agree with it. Your goal is to understand the different levels of knowledge and point of view that your opponent uses to make decisions. Geologists look at the layers of rock to figure out what the land is like. This Stoic depth-seeking method can help you find new common ground, and you might also learn important things about yourself and how you react. The river that was once boiling will become a calm stream whose stones are marked with knowledge and possible solutions. Number 2, pick your fights carefully. There are many disagreements in life, from political disagreements to disagreements in parking places. But the Stoics say that only a few stones in the way need our full attention. Getting involved in every fight, no matter how small, can make us feel tired. So, the second Stoic strategy tells us to be careful about which fights we take. Picture yourself in front of a huge battlefield. Every disagreement and argument has the potential to turn into a fight. A smart Stoic would take a moment to carefully consider each situation before jumping into the fight. Should we fight? Will this battle hurt my health or the things that are most important to me? Following the ideas of Stoic philosophy will help you choose your battles. The Seneca test. The greatest remedy for anger is delay, said Seneca. Take a moment to think about this and remind yourself how important it is to stop. Take a moment to calm down before you instantly answer. Take a step back and look at the situation without bias. It's normal for the stress of the moment to cloud our judgment, making it hard to make smart choices. Do we still need to ask Epictetus this question? It is not the event itself that distresses us, but our view of it, Epictetus said. Think about this important question for yourself. What effect does this debate really have on your values, health, or something important in your life? Or is it just a bothersome issue, a small hill instead of a mountain? Focusing on things that are really important will help you deal with them more effectively and with more focus. The Marcus Aurelius concept says that sometimes being quiet is good. Know how powerful it is to let go. Marcus Aurelius said that sometimes the best thing to do is to not make a choice at all. Most of the time, it's fine to keep quiet and let things go. Not arguing about small slights or choosing not to get into useless fights can be very self-controlled ways to keep your cool. Analyze the pros and cons of Stoicism using the cost-benefit method. Every fight costs you in terms of mental work and possible results. Think about how losing the argument might make you feel and how winning might make you feel. Is the price of victory worth it? Knowing when to give up with grace is sometimes the greatest form of strength. Remember that picking your fights wisely does not mean you are weak or don't care. It's about being aware of how little time and energy you have and making good use of them. You may be able to stay focused on life's fight and save your strength for the moments that matter if you use this Stoic information. Third, be cool and clear when you speak. Imagine that you are facing your enemy with your words ready to fight instead of your weapons pulled. The Stoic way, on the other hand, stresses calm clarity, which makes it possible for a more helpful conversation. The idea behind this strategy comes from Stoic thinkers like Seneca. Instead of yelling insults and charges, you should clearly state your needs and concerns to help others understand and reduce aggression. The main parts of speech that are influenced by Stoicism are the following. Get better at listening actively. Do more than just wait for someone to talk. Listen carefully to what the other person says before you speak. Please pay close attention to what they say and how they act. Do not talk over them. Instead, nod your head and keep eye contact. This lets them know you care and that you understand what they're saying. Show that you understand and respect their feelings and experiences. Not agreement, but empathy. Respect their thoughts and feelings, even if you don't agree with them. Saying things like, "I know you're upset," or "This seems like something important to you," can help you connect and build a relationship. Say anything you don't like about I statements. Think about your point of view instead of blaming others. Instead of negative you comments, use I words to talk about what you want and how you feel. These kinds of statements include, "I need to feel respected in this situation," and "I feel hurt when you do this." This makes people less guarded and encourages them to work together to solve problems. Instead of being angry, speak clearly and quietly. Peace, not noise, makes a person strong. Don't speak up because you're mad. Do it to make sure you understand. Keep your cool while speaking with confidence and strength. Do not abuse or attack people personally. This will only make things worse. Deal with issues first, not points. Try to find answers instead of wins. Remember that the goal is to find a way to work together that works for both of you, not to win the argument. What can we do to deal with this together is a good way to start a conversation about how to solve problems together. How can we come to an agreement that works for both of us? Remember that being able to speak calmly and clearly is an important skill. It's okay to say sorry when you mess up, and you should be kind to yourself. The more good contact you have, the easier it will be to get through even the hardest jobs. Fourth, look for the road that everyone is on. Imagine two mountain climbers going up what look like separate peaks. They know that their different paths will meet at a shared peak, where understanding will shine as they climb, though. This image fits perfectly with the fourth step of our non-confrontational journey, looking for a path that everyone can use. It stands for the Stoic idea of oikeiosis, which means living in balance with nature. Stoics tell us to look deeper and find the deeper currents that bind us, even though disagreements often make it seem like our goals or ideals are at odds with each other. Focusing on these shared hobbies, even if they don't seem important at first, can help us work together and find common ground, which will lead to a more peaceful resolution in the end. Here are some steps you can take to start your Stoic search for shared ground. Stop thinking about me and start thinking about we. Go beyond individual points of view. Instead of a you vs me argument, see the difference as a chance to work together toward a shared goal. Think about this. What do we both want in the end? This shift in point of view opens the door to possible areas of agreement, even if they aren't clear at first. Look for these things that you need. People often have conflicting wants because their needs aren't being met. Check to see what needs each of you is trying to meet by fighting. It could be a need for safety, respect, or acceptance. Realizing these basic needs can help people understand each other better and make it easier to find ways to meet those needs. Find ideas that you both agree on. What we do is based on our beliefs. Instead of focusing on the problem at hand, look into the basic ideas that everyone shares. Do you both value fairness, honesty, or morality? When you have shared values, they can guide you to make choices that are in line with your views. Start slowly and speed up. Take pleasure in small wins. Don't think that everyone will agree on everything right away. Instead, focus on finding small areas where you agree, even if they seem unimportant. These early decisions can boost confidence and energy, which can make it easier to take on bigger problems. Remember that life is a trip, not a place you get to. Time is of the essence. It might take a while to get along, so be patient and understanding. Don't be hard on yourself when you fail. Remember that every step toward unity is a step away from conflict. This Stoic method sets you on a path that goes beyond easy answers. For a normal road, you look for ways to make your experiences more meaningful and set the stage for a more peaceful future. Remember that the height of understanding is reached by people who rise together, led by the light of shared goals and ideals. Number 5. Get to their core ideas. Picture yourself standing in front of a huge oak tree with roots that are deeply rooted in the ground. The oak can't be moved with just brute force. A wise Stoic, on the other hand, would know that the elements like wind and water can have an effect on things and might whisper in their ear something that makes them think about their goals. This metaphor shows how to use the Stoic strategy of appealing to inner ideals, which is a powerful way to settle disagreements carefully and quietly. Instead of going after their image, we focus on the rich grounds of their ideals and ideas. By getting to know and following their inner guide, they can find answers that are in line with their core views. In the end, this will lead to more honest buy-in and deals that last. To start your journey from being Stoic to being value-driven, do these things. Make the value environment clear. Doing study before making your point will help you become a better researcher. What moral standards do they follow? What do their beliefs tell them how to act? Watch what they do and say, and write down what they say yes or no to. By showing possible links, this makes it easier to make a picture of their value landscape. Close the split by value. Find the shared thread. Not thinking that their ideals are completely different from yours is a bad idea. Find shared values, even if they don't seem to fit the current situation. You both value doing what's right, being honest, and being fair. By figuring out what beliefs they share, you can make your point in a way that appeals to them. Use their words when you talk. Instead of trying to trick them, change your message to fit their values once you know what they stand for. Talk so that they can say what they're interested in and what worries them. Telling them your values in a way that fits with theirs builds a sense of shared ground instead of making you give up your own. Show, don't just tell, because actions say louder than words. Instead of just telling them about your answer, show them how it fits with what they believe. Provide specific examples, stories, or past actions that show how your plan follows the main principles. This gives your case more strength and humanity. Remember that respect is very important. Instead of control, try to understand. During this process, always be kind and polite. This is important to remember. Your goal is not to control or dominate them, but to help them find an answer that meets both your needs and their values. By using this Stoic method, you turn into a good guide instead of a warrior with words, taking your enemy to a place they can really believe in. Remember that basic change doesn't come from forcing someone to change. It comes from them being in line with the ideals that shape their character. This approach builds respect and understanding between both sides and, in the end, leads to answers that are good for everyone. Using fun in a smart way to solve problems is number 6. Picture yourself walking on a wire that is stretched over a huge hole. Making a mistake can make you very angry, but humor can help you stand up straight like a balance beam. This complex metaphor captures the essence of the 6th Stoic method, which is to use humor to solve problems. There's no doubt that laughing can ease stress and make it easier to talk about things. A joke or fun humor told at the right time can help relieve stress, leading to better understanding and the release of anger. A Stoic philosopher named Seneca said that a joke is like a flower. It can change into an insult. To get the most out of comedy, we need to be very careful when we use it. Here are some tips to help you walk the funny tightrope with ease. Know your audience. Sometimes different people find the same things funny, so think about how your opponent laughs and who they are before you make a joke. What do they think makes them laugh? What kinds of topics could be touchy? When you're making jokes, be careful and err on the side of caution. Something that makes someone laugh might make someone else angry. Find peace and quiet, not horniness, and laugh at things instead of with them. It's not funny to make fun of or insult your opponent. The point is to find a common sense of humor. When it comes to humor, making fun of yourself is often a better bet because it shows that you are humble and willing to admit your mistakes. The time is very important. Read the room again after you're done with it. When used incorrectly, humor can have terrible effects. Before adding humor, you should think about how serious the issue is. It would be better to wait until things calm down. Keep your cool and be kind if the stress is still strong. Puns and snark should be left at the door. Do not tell jokes that make fun of sensitive topics, stereotypes, or attacks on your person. Remember that the goal is to build bridges, not burn them. Use comedy as a tool, not as a crutch. Please don't think that humor will end the fight by itself. Humor can be useful, but it shouldn't be used instead of honest conversation or dealing with important problems. Don't think it will be the magic cure. Use it in small amounts to make people feel more open and brighten the mood. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Whenever you're not sure, it's best to stay away from jokes. To figure out if they're right, Keep in mind that it's easier to gain trust than to lose it after making a mistake, even in comedy. Using these Stoic ideas, comedy might stop being a risky balance walk and start being a useful way to build relationships, relieve stress, and make it easier to solve problems. Remember that laughter's power lies in its ability to bring people together, not separate them. When used correctly, it can turn tense situations into chances to get along and work things out. Number 7. Show that you care. You are on a rough mountain path and you can see another climber going the wrong way through a crack in the rock. Like a whirlwind, their irritation and anger can be heard all over the valley. Instead of throwing arguments across the void, a Stoic person would slowly lower themselves, fill the gap, and offer an understanding hand. The 7th tactic is the Stoic concept of showing concern. This is what it's all about. Even during heated fights, empathy can help people work out their differences without fighting. In line with what Marcus Aurelius says, we can make real relationships with others and have more productive conversations by supporting their feelings and experiences. Change your point of view from me to them to create the ability of Stoicism. Look at the world through their eyes. It's better to try to see things from their point of view than just worrying about yourself. What events in their lives have changed how they feel? What fears or doubts might be driving them? This shift in viewpoint helps you understand and empathize with them by letting you see their unique world. Pay attention to what isn't being said. Pay attention to what isn't being said. When talking to other people, it's important to pay attention to both what they say and how they act. This includes things like tone of voice, face emotions, body language, and what you say. It is important to understand what is being sent and respond properly. These often show deeper thoughts that their words might have hidden. Do your best to understand while you listen and don't judge. See, don't pass the judge. Focus on their feelings instead of how they act. Let them know that you understand and care about how they feel, even if you don't agree with them. Saying things like, "I get why this is important to you," or "It sounds like you're frustrated," can make someone trust you more and feel less defensive. Find the pain that's been pushed down. Find the place where the argument comes from. A lot of the time, anger and irritability are caused by deeper emotional wounds. For them, look into anything that might cause them pain, fear, or nervousness. When you have a better understanding, you can deal with the root cause instead of just the symptoms. It also makes you more empathetic. Remember that being thankful is not the same as agreeing. Don't walk in front of them, walk with them. Being empathetic doesn't mean you agree with what they're doing or give up your morals. It's as easy as understanding their point of view and creating an atmosphere that encourages honest conversation. Even if you don't agree, you can handle the argument with respect and understanding. You build a bridge of understanding, not just a bridge over a chasm of disagreement. When you take this Stoic view of empathy, you put yourself in their shoes to connect instead of judge, and that connection can lead to real closure, both for the present moment and for how you deal with each other in the future. So get off the mountain, reach out, and show someone you care. You and your partner might be taken on a surprise trip. 8th, learn how to find common ground. Imagine standing in front of a huge oak tree whose branches won't stop moving in the wind. You might have to use a lot of force to get the oak to do what you want, which could hurt both you and the tree. Learning how to agree, bend, and change to find a way for the wind and the oak to live in peace is a more sensible approach that draws from Stoic philosophy. Absolutes and strong opinions rarely help people work out their differences. Epictetus said, "Seek not to have things happen as you wish, but rather wish them to happen as they do, and you will live a tranquil life." Real power means being able to find solutions that solve at least some of your needs and your opponent's needs. Change me to we to learn this Stoic art. Reframe the disagreement as a way to work together. Instead of seeing it as a competition, see it as a chance to find a way out of the problem that works for everyone. This new way of looking at things leads to better results and new ways of fixing problems. Find goals that everyone shares. Find something you both agree on, even if it seems hard to see. Look at the long-term goals you both want to reach and put aside your present disagreement. You might both care about the same things, like truth, respect, or a good place to work. Finding these shared goals makes it possible to come to an agreement. Know what's most important to you and be ready to let go. Not all details are important. Some things about the situation are important enough to make death worth it. Pick out the most important things and be ready to give up on the rest. In this way, you can focus on finding answers that solve your main problems. Find the answer that works for everyone. Try to find answers where everyone wins instead of just one person or group wins. Try to come up with an answer that makes everyone feel like their needs are understood and met in some way. In the long run, this makes people feel less angry and more like justice has been done. Remember that life is a trip, not a place you get to. It's important to be patient and adaptable. It's rare for compromises to only happen once. If something changes or new information comes out, be ready to go over the deal again. To reach a lasting agreement, both sides must be willing to talk things out and change their minds. When you learn the Stoic art of balance, you can stick to your requests and beliefs. You show strength, flexibility, and a strong desire to find answers that work for everyone instead. You know how to live in a state of dynamic balance, not pushback, like the wind and the oak, which makes the end more peaceful and harmonious for everyone. 9. Don't be ashamed to ask for help from outside sources. Imagine getting caught up in a thicket of thorns, with branches twisting and turning in your way. It seems like you can't make progress no matter how hard you try. This irritation often feels like being stuck in a fight where you can't talk to each other, and it seems impossible to find a solution. But the Stoics tell us that even in these circumstances, we are not alone. The 9th strategy stresses that asking for help from others should be seen as a sign of our determination to make things better, not as a sign of weakness. As a Stoic philosopher takes their students to knowledge, so can a referee or psychologist act as an unbiased third party to help people work through the complicated maze of conflict. As long as everyone feels safe and heard, they can provide a controlled space for conversation. Their knowledge can help clear up the muddled conversation and get rid of the mental growth that has been going on. Strong feelings often get in the way of our ability to speak, making it hard to understand other people's points of view or make our own clear. By helping to unwind these emotional knots, a neutral third party can make the talk more relaxed and productive, bridging the gap and building a path to understanding. Counselors and judges are trained to spot knowledge holes and help people who are fighting fill them. By helping each person see things from the other person's point of view, they can build understanding and reduce defensiveness. They can also promote productive talks that lead to a settlement. Facilitators who are skilled can steer the conversation toward useful problem solving, making sure that everyone can talk about their fears and work together to find solutions. We offer tools and strategies that will get you ready for the trip. A lot of advisors and judges have special training in how to deal with conflicts and talk to people. Their lessons can help you build better relationships over time by giving you the tools you need to deal with future disagreements. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness or wisdom. Asking for help, according to Stoic philosophy, is a sign of wisdom rather than weakness. It shows that you want to find a solution that works for everyone and are willing to put money into your own growth and the success of the relationship. By getting help from outside sources, you can benefit from the knowledge and experience of others. This can help you and your opponent find a peaceful and helpful solution to your disagreement. Remember that getting help from time to time can make things better and tell you that you are not alone, even when things are hard. 10. Being able to forgive. Imagine being stuck to a huge rock. The weight of the rock is pulling you down, and its sharp edges are cutting into your skin. This heavy feeling that keeps you stuck in the past and makes it hard to move on is the weight of anger and forgiveness. The Stoic philosophy says that one of the best ways to break these ties is to forgive oneself. Forgiving someone doesn't make up for the past or the way they behaved. That person who is angry always has a wound open, as Seneca reminds us. To forgive someone, you have to choose to let go of the hurt feelings that are holding you back so you can move on with more clarity and peace of mind. Take the focus off of them and think about how their actions are affecting your health. This will help you become more stoic. Getting angry and resentful and hanging on to it does more damage than the other person. You feel tired, can't think straight, and find happiness and peace more easily when you're stressed. When you choose to forgive, you can take back control of your mental health and put your own health first. Realize that your point of view matters and look at the situation in a bigger picture way. Sometimes, in order to forgive someone, you need to understand their past and their goals. Instead of defending their acts, they are owning their flaws and weaknesses. This new point of view could help people understand each other better and make the situation less upsetting. Don't forget to let go of the past, not the memories. Forgiving someone doesn't mean forgetting what happened. It means letting go of the bad feelings that come with it. Remember the lessons you've learned, but let go of the things that are holding you back, like anger and hate. Take part in active forgiveness. Keep in mind that forgiving someone is an ongoing process. Please do what you can to make it longer. On this journey, you have to keep working hard. If you want to practice active forgiveness, you can let go of negative thoughts and feelings whenever they come up. Writing in a diary, focusing on the present moment, and meditating can all help with this. Remember that forgiveness is for you, not them. In the end, you give yourself a gift when you forgive others. It frees you from bad feelings and makes you happier, calmer, and more able to change how you feel. Don't wait for someone else to earn your forgiveness. Forgive yourself first. You can change your present and make room for a better future by accepting spiritual forgiveness. You choose not to forget the past. Instead, you choose to walk the path of peace and self-compassion, freeing yourself from the chains of anger and hate. Remember that forgiving someone shows strength and commitment to their own well-being, not weakness. So, take a big breath out, let go of the weight, and move forward into a future that will give you more freedom and serenity. Number 11. Rising from the ashes of conflict. Think of a bird that has been through trouble and come out stronger and smarter. This strong metaphor captures the essence of the 11th Stoic strategy, which is to use disagreement as a springboard for personal development. Epictetus said to make the most of the things you can control and accept that the rest is set and out of your hands. When you think about yourself and evaluate yourself, you can use conflict as a chance to learn and grow as a person. Start this life-changing journey by being open to learning and seeing problems as chances to grow. Change the way you think about disagreement from something bad to something that can help you grow and learn. Be willing to look at your mistakes and acts and go into the situation with an open mind. Dig up the ground. Find the real reasons behind the problem. Give some thought to how you fit into the fight. That's what made you act that way. On what morals or beliefs did the case go against? What feelings took over, and how did they change what you did? Being honest is important for figuring out your habits and triggers, so give these questions a lot of thought. Find areas that can be done from thinking about it to putting it into action. Let reflection not bring you down. Instead, turn your thoughts into ideas for improvement that you can follow. Did you need help talking to people in a good way? You might want to work on your active listening skills. Did your emotions get the best of you? To improve mental control, look into breathing techniques. Ask for help and feedback. To learn from trustworthy teachers, find a loyal friend, therapist, or guide who can help you grow as a person and give you honest feedback. Talking to a stranger about your thoughts and experiences could help you see things in a new way and make you more responsible. Remember that growth takes time. Being patient is key. Change will happen slowly because growing as a person takes work and time. Don't give up on your goal of ongoing growth. Failures are opportunities to learn, so be proud of the little things you do well. If you follow this Stoic philosophy, disagreement might stop being a bad thing and start being a strong force for self-discovery and positive change. You are rebuilt from the ashes and come out stronger, smarter, and ready to face problems head-on with courage and poise. Always keep in mind that you can learn and grow, and that even the hardest situations can help you become the best version of yourself. Setting limits is number 12. Picture yourself on a clean beach with the waves lapping gently at your feet. Wait, someone is entering your space and making you feel bad. The 12th Stoic method, which represents the delicate balance of managing encounters, is an effective tool for establishing limits and protecting your health and inner serenity. We are not upset about the event itself. We are upset about how we see it. Epictetus tells us that while we cannot control what other people do, we can control how we respond by deciding what we will and will not accept. By setting clear limits, we can protect ourselves from bad things and make our relationships better. To use this Stoic idea in real life, you should understand your inner direction. Figure out what you need and what you value. Before setting limits, think about what's most important. What acts are in line with your values? What kinds of actions drain your energy or invade your personal space? Setting these mental limits makes it possible for people to communicate well. Be polite and clear when you talk. Not walls, but words. Stay away from vague comments and acting passive-aggressively. Focus on your wants and feelings and use I words to voice your limits in a clear and forceful way. Remember that being polite is necessary for building unity and understanding. The key is to be consistent. Stick to your rules like a lantern once you've set them. Don't give in to guilt or make excuses to avoid a fight. When you stick to your limits, you show others respect and get respect from yourself. Get ready for trouble. Know that not everyone will be able to follow your rules. You can get ready for possible pushback by kindly restating your position and stressing how important it is that they follow your rules. Remember that having limits gives you power. Taking care of yourself is the key to being free. Setting boundaries is not selfish. It's important to protect your mental and physical health. Taking care of your room and energy can help you grow, which is in line with Seneca's advice to have a happy heart and be thankful for what you have. Adopting this Stoic idea will help you and others get more respect, communicate more clearly, and have relationships that are better and more enjoyable in the long run. Remember that setting limits gives you the power to live a life full of inner freedom, respect, and peace, instead of building walls. It's a way to love yourself. 13. Don't forget that you are in charge of how you react. Picture yourself in the middle of a rough storm where the waves are crashing and the wind is howling. This storm is out of your control, but you can choose how to deal with it. The 13th Stoic strategy is to remember that you are in charge of your reactions, not the things that are happening around you. It's a powerful comparison. Stoics tell us that real strength comes from mastering our inner world, not from controlling the outside world. While life is rough, Epictetus says, "It is a shame for the soul to depend on the body for satisfaction." To stay calm inside, we can focus on our responses, which we can control. To build the ability of Stoicism, you need to figure out what sets you off. Know where your emotions are at. Just for a moment, think about the things or situations that make you feel bad. There may be certain words or people that bother you. Recognizing these causes is the first thing that needs to be done to control them. Take a deep breath. Leave some space between the trigger and the answer. Make up your mind to wait before acting on instinct. Take a big breath in and give yourself time to quietly watch and think about what's going on. Feelings won't be able to control what you do because of this. Change your point of view. Change your point of view, not the facts. Many times, how we think about things affects how we respond more than what actually happens. Look at things from different points of view and face your unconscious opinions. Is it possible to fix this? What good things can you focus on? Be careful when choosing your response. Do not respond, but react. Once you've calmed down and changed your point of view, carefully think about your choices before replying. Does getting angry or frustrated help you deal with things? Would it work better if you were calm and sure of yourself? Remember that based on how you react, the issue can get worse or better. Work out, work out, work out. It takes time and work to learn how to control your responses, just like learning any other skill. It takes a lot of work. You can gradually improve your mental strength and self-control by trying out different ways to handle tough scenarios. When you accept this Stoic idea, you gain strength rather than becoming meek. Instead of trying to control the outside world, you learn to handle life's storms with courage and grace. You find inner peace by controlling your responses. Remember that the real test of strength is having quiet control over your own thoughts and feelings, not having control from outside yourself. So, stay calm when things get tough, make smart choices, and weather life's storms with the calm confidence of a Stoic master. These Stoic-inspired methods can help you transform an argument into a chance for learning, comprehension, and inner tranquility. Remember that the real victory is not beating your opponent, but becoming stronger and more sure of yourself by managing your emotions. You have power over your mind, not over outside events, Marcus Aurelius said one time. You will find strength if you understand this. Have you ever felt the frustration of having a thought full of noise, the pain of not knowing what to do, or the paralysis by analysis that results from overthinking? We've all done it, played back talks, guessed what would happen, and tried to solve an endless string of what-ifs in our minds. Here are 10 useful Stoic ways to stop overthinking so you can face this problem head-on. Let's get started. Think of your overthinking as something outside of you. It's easy to get caught up in too much thought, like fog coming in on a clear day. It starts as a single fear or thought and grows so big that it can knock you off your feet. In our fast-paced world, where information comes at us like hail in a storm, this is a familiar problem. The Stoic philosopher King Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This brings us to our first technique, seeing overthinking as something outside of you. Making your thoughts into an enemy is not the point. The point is to see that these thoughts are not who you are. They come into your peace and bother you. Think of those bothersome thoughts as clouds moving over a mountain. You are that mountain, majestic and stable, standing strong even as the clouds pass by. Now, how do you keep these attackers out? Stoicism tells us to look at things without getting involved. You could put these thoughts in a bubble and watch them float away. This mental practice doesn't just make them less important, it also helps you remember that thoughts are temporary. Your peace will only be disturbed if you hold on to them and give them power. By doing this picture over and over, you can train your mind to let go of these thoughts before they become a storm. You are not just your thoughts as you get better at telling yourself apart from all the overthinking. This difference acts as a shield, like earplugs in a loud crowd. Every day you have to make a conscious effort that gets stronger over time. Take a moment to picture the thought as noise, something that isn't required and has nothing to do with who you are. Not only will this keep you from overthinking, but it will also help you reclaim your mental space and peace from time to time. Shift your attention to something else to grab control. Have you ever found yourself getting lost in a rabbit hole of what-ifs and what-ifs that will happen? Worrying about the same things over and over until you can't think straight? In your mind, it's like having a bunch of computer tabs open and each one has a video playing full speed. You can't seem to hit stop. The stress of having to keep up with everything can make people think too much, which can lead to a never-ending circle of overthinking. But just like a messy desk, a thought that is too messy needs to be cleaned up. Redirecting your mental energy isn't just about finding peace. It's also about regaining control and turning down the noise of what could be so you can enjoy what is. Seneca, another Stoic sage, put wisdom into words when he said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence on the future." Put yourself in the present moment to stop overthinking. Pay attention to a job, even if it's a small one, and put all of your energy into finishing it. Moving your attention to the present moment pulls you out of the swirling vortex of what-ifs about the future. Do something that needs your full attention. This is an easy but deep practical application. You might only need to clean up your workspace, go for a quick walk, or get lost in a book. These things need to be done right now, not yesterday or tomorrow. When you tell your thoughts to match your actions, you're not just taking your mind off of things, you're also controlling where your energy goes. Remember that Stoicism isn't about blocking out your thoughts, it's about controlling them by picking which ones to focus on. There is a mental practice going on here. It's not possible to completely stop overthinking, that's not the point. It's important to know when your ideas aren't helpful and have the tools to change them. The more you use this ability to refocus, the stronger and more adaptable your mind gets, just like when you work out a muscle. You'll learn that the crushing wave of overthinking can be tamed one wave at a time by being present and taking action. Accept that things change over time and work on letting go. When we think about the past or worry about the future, our minds tend to get stuck in a loop. It's here that overthinking takes over, making thoughts stick around longer than they should. This is a problem for everyone, whether they are a student worried about a test, a worker worried about a presentation, or just someone trying to fall asleep while their mind is racing at 100 miles per hour. While Epictetus's words may seem heavy in the midst of this mental run, they are actually about the idea of change, which is at the heart of Stoicism. There are changes in everything, even the feelings that don't seem to go away. We often hold on to our thoughts as if they are fixed parts of our lives when we think too much. Accepting that things change over time means realizing that thoughts are not permanent. When you feel paralyzed by overthinking, this understanding can be a light of hope. In real life, accepting change means making it a habit to let go. You consciously let go of the thoughts that don't help you. It's like clearing out your mind. See yourself as a leaf floating on the top of a river as you let your thoughts drift away. Or maybe you see them as clouds that move on and change shape all the time. This picture not only helps right away, but it also helps you understand more deeply that the nature of thinking is to change. This practice can change the way you interact with your thoughts if you do it every day. They shouldn't be forced to leave. They should be allowed to. It takes bravery to let go, which is not the same thing as giving up. It means you've decided not to let useless thoughts take over your mind for free. You'll notice a new mental room and quietness that was always there, but was hidden by all the noise of overthinking as you get better at this. It's not just a method to accept that things change. It's a way of life that is more relaxed and in the moment. Set aside time to worry. Many people have fears that are always in the back of their minds, like the hum of a refrigerator. Sometimes they are hard to notice, but they are always there. Worries like these can take over our minds at any time, even when we're trying to sleep, focus on work, or have fun with friends. As if our mind were a stage, and these worries were the guests who won't go away. Epictetus, a Stoic teacher, said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This quote may seem off-topic, but it's a strong lesson to put our peace of mind before worrying so that we don't appear naive or careless. Setting up a worry period is a smart way to give these worries a stage time, but only during the encore and not the main act. You can give these fears your full attention every day for a certain amount of time, like 20 minutes in the afternoon. You focus on your fears during this time, trying to understand where they come from and maybe even writing them down. What's really making you upset? How likely are these events to happen? What are you going to do? A lot of the time, this focused process shows us that many of our fears are like shadows. They look big, but when you look them in the eye, they don't really mean anything. This process also teaches your mind that it's okay to worry sometimes, but not all the time. After the fear phase is over, you move on. You have given your fears their time, and now you put them away. Creating these separate areas will help you take back control of your day. The goal isn't to never worry again. That's not possible. But keeping your fears in check makes them less of a problem in your life. This method is like cleaning up your mind, putting your thoughts where they belong, and enjoying the peace that comes from having a well-organized area. If you don't let your fears run wild, you might find that they lose their power, and life feels a little lighter and more fun. Break down your heavy thoughts into steps you can take. Some people feel like they are carrying around a huge rock when they are overthinking. We're stuck under the heavy cloud of our own thoughts, which seem to be all the weight of the world. People all over the world feel this way. It's made worse by living in a world that expects great success in every area of life, including work, relationships, personal growth, and social status. The stress of having to do well can stop us in our tracks with fear and confusion. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The thing that stops you from acting leads to action." This quote can help you find your way through this fog of overthinking. What stands in the way becomes the way. This deep understanding is the basis of our fifth method, which is turning overwhelming thoughts into steps that can be taken. If you have a big fear or a complicated problem that is making your mind race, break it up into smaller pieces that you can handle. What's the next step I can take? Not all 5, 10, or 20 steps, just the next one. It might seem like a small thing to do, but it's a strong way to stop overthinking. Focusing on one thing at a time shifts your energy from thinking to doing. It's like taking care of one small knot at a time to untangle a big one. That's not to say that your worries aren't complicated. You're just going through them with purpose and accuracy. This method is beautiful because it is easy to use and works well. You gain speed with each small step, and when you look back, you see that the worry rock has turned into a pile of pebbles. You took one step at a time to cross. This method teaches people to be patient, strong, and confident in their own abilities to face problems head-on. All of a sudden, something that seemed impossible to overcome is behind you, and you stop overthinking. Instead, you feel accomplished and clear. Change your focus to being thankful. Our brains are tricky. They frequently lead us into a maze of overthinking about what we don't have, what might go wrong, or what we still need to do. This is a never-ending cycle that can make us feel tired and unhappy. Focusing on the bad or the not yet in life can make you overthink, which can make the good that's already there seem less important. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without worrying about the future." This Stoic wisdom nugget is a call to change our view from lack to excess, from overthinking to thanks. When we worry about what will happen, we forget how valuable the present moment is and all the good things that are happening around us. Being thankful helps us get out of our mental ruts and plant ourselves firmly in the rich land of now, where life is really happening. Do this change by writing down 3 things you're thankful for every day. They don't need to be fancy, they just need to be real. It could be something as easy as a nice cup of coffee, your favorite hoodie, or a message from a friend. If you do this easy thing, it can help you stop overthinking and start being grateful for what you have in your life right now. By focusing on thanks, you not only quiet the noise of your overthinking, but you also make your daily life better. Being thankful makes the good things in our lives stand out even more, and it can slowly but surely change the way we talk to ourselves from one of lack to one of plenty. This new way of looking at things can change how you deal with life's problems over time, making them into chances to see and value what's already good in your life even more. Here, it's not just about feeling better right now. It's about building a base of happiness that will last you through all of life's ups and downs. Aim for effort instead of result. Our minds often dance with the future, its outcomes, its what-ifs, and its endless chances of failure and sadness, which can make us think too much. We can become paralyzed with fear when we think about what might happen in the future and focus on that instead of the actions themselves. People in our society often think that the end justifies the means, which can make us think that if we don't know what will happen, it's not worth going on the trip. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our actions and goals rather than the results we can't control, according to a Stoic saying by Epictetus. This doesn't mean we shouldn't have goals or want to do great things. It just means that what really matters is how hard we work, how honest we are, and how much virtue we have as we go along. To use this method, actively shift your attention back to the effort itself whenever you find yourself overthinking the possible outcomes of your actions. Ask yourself, are you the best you can be? Are you acting in a good way? Are you staying true to what you believe in? When you use this method, you should be fully involved in the process, do the work, and know that's all you have to do. We can break free from the chains of overthinking when we focus on effort. It lets us be in the present and do our best without worrying about what might be getting in the way. It changes the way we act from simple steps toward a goal to displays of our character and dedication. You'll see that your road isn't just a way to get to something else. It's also a way to live a purposeful life, and each step is an accomplishment in and of itself. The last 3 methods give you new ways of looking at things, which can help you find your hidden strengths, become more resilient in real life, and deal with life's challenges in a balanced way. Practice being uncomfortable on purpose. When we're faced with something that might be uncomfortable or different, our thoughts often take us into a whirlpool of overthinking. We act out different situations over and over, trying to guess what will happen and getting ready for any pain that might happen. It can be tiring to do this thought practice. When you stay in your comfort zone, you stop growing, and overthinking is the guardian. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." This quote is meant to reflect the Stoic principle of facing problems head-on rather than dodging them. We can train our brains to deal with uncertainty and stop overthinking by putting ourselves in situations that make them uncomfortable. It's about taking small, deliberate steps that push us out of our comfort zones and teach us how to be strong and flexible. To bring this into your everyday life, start with a small change, like taking a cold shower, sleeping without a pillow, or walking instead of driving. Do something that throws off your regular schedule and don't judge your feelings as they come up. This isn't a punishment. It's a way to show yourself that being uncomfortable isn't as scary as you think it is, and stop overthinking it. In a strange way, choosing to be uncomfortable can make you more comfortable with different parts of your life. When you do things that make you feel uncomfortable on a regular basis, they start to feel normal and your mind starts to calm down. It pays less attention to how things change and more attention to what you can control, how you respond. It's not only easier to stop overthinking when you see things in a new way, but it also helps you build inner strength that isn't affected by the tides of life. Think about how short life is. A lot of the time, when we're overthinking, it's because we've focused too much on the little things in our lives and lost sight of the bigger picture. When we think about all the what-ifs, it makes us lose sight of the big picture. This close-up view can make even the smallest problems seem impossible to solve, which takes up our time and energy. We are not given a short life, but we make it short, Seneca wrote. We are not hungry, but we waste our food. We are prompted to reflect on the transient nature of our existence by this powerful warning. Every second that is spent overthinking is a moment that is not fully lived or enjoyed. As Stoics, we should ask ourselves if our fears will really matter in the big picture of our lives. So, to stop ourselves from overthinking, we should often step back and look at our whole lives. Realize that many of the things that bother us are temporary and don't matter in the long run. When your thoughts are too much for you to handle, take a moment to remember that life is short. Check to see if this moment of overthinking is really worth the time you have. When we think about how short life is, our memories and worries naturally become more important. This isn't a call to be sad or uncaring. It's a call to enjoy the moment and keep your mind on what's important. It's a strong way to stop overthinking because it brings our attention to the present, makes us value the present more, and makes worries about the future less heavy. Instead of causing anxiety, use the transient nature of life as a blank surface to paint with the bright colors of present and active living. You should look for wisdom from other people. Sometimes it feels like we're walking through a maze in our minds, and every turn only leads to more confusion and overthinking. When we try to put together a puzzle, the pieces keep getting bigger, which makes us feel stuck. This is the main problem with overthinking. We get stuck in a loop that begins and ends in our own minds, and there isn't always a clear way out. Seneca, who was known for his wisdom, advised, "Ask your friend about everything, but especially about things that affect you." Then, his advice might come in handy when your own love for yourself makes it hard to make good decisions. These simple words contain a deep truth that can help you get through the rough waters of overthinking. Stoicism tells us that the loop of ruminating can be broken by looking for answers elsewhere. It might be a friend's new point of view, the unbiased advice of a guru, or the timeless wisdom in a book. In current times, this means looking for people whose views you value and believe. There could be a friend or family member or a professional who can help you. Sharing your thoughts with them can help in two ways. It clarifies what's on your mind as you express it, and it allows for unbiased feedback that you might not have gotten while overthinking things. This method does more than just solve problems. It also tells us how important it is to connect with other people. Things that weigh us down often get lighter when we share them. As social people, this is not a sign of weakness. It's a recognition of our strength as a group. You can emerge from the darkness of overthinking by following the light of other people's wisdom. The puzzle will get easier to solve with each talk. This isn't because the problems are easier, but because you're not trying to solve them by yourself. Imagine having all the power and freedom in the world, but always being afraid of wars, diseases and betrayals. Doesn't it sound like a contradiction? But that was Marcus Aurelius's daily life. He was ruler, but even he had to deal with problems that would make anyone feel helpless. Today, I'm going to tell you how he found an amazing way to deal with his unhappiness in Stoicism, a philosophy that changed not only his life, but also mine. Before I start, I want to thank all of you for your amazing help. What you do not only helps me, but it also brings us together on our quest for wisdom that can make a difference in our lives. Together, let's find out how the strength of a ruler can make us stronger. It's interesting to reflect on why some people don't react to certain things. If someone doesn't respond, it can feel like you're walking on thin air, but that's not a sign to give up or give in. Then how can you make this seem like a rejection into a good thing? By the end of this video, you'll know how to deal with people who don't care about you and how reverse psychology can help you get them to change their mind. To begin, it's important to avoid people who try to lower your worth by being cold and uninterested. It's important not to let these things shake you, but to rise above them. Ignoring someone who turns you down is not a sign of anger. It's a strong statement of self-worth. Just imagine that someone thought your time was useless. They are the ones losing. The fact that you chose not to participate shows that you value yourself. It's comparable to holding up a mirror in front of you to reflect and show that this kind of behavior doesn't bother you. But how can we do this without getting angry? It's easy. Just think about your life, your goals, and your happiness. Spend time doing things that will make your life better, like reading, playing sports, learning new skills, or just hanging out with people who care about you. It's not about getting back at them. It's about focusing on what really counts. Of course, people will ignore you sometimes, but instead of focusing on that, use it to push you to grow as a person. Boost your self-esteem, and the lack of interest from others will go away. This gives you power, so you're not just fighting rejection, you're living in spite of it. Your commitment to self-improvement shows that you are emotionally mature and showing off your inner strength. Remember that other people's inability to see how valuable you are does not make you less valuable. Stay true to who you are and let your deeds talk louder than what other people say. Instead of reacting without thinking, try to respond with thought. Not losing your honor and respect when things get tough is a sign of strength and a confirmation that you can handle being ignored. Second important thing, get rid of them from your mind. The skill of separation turns out to be a very important part of your plan. Put them away and forget about them. This doesn't mean ignoring or acting like rejection doesn't hurt. It means turning that hurt into something that helps you grow. Recognize the rejection and feel how it affects you to start this process. But don't let it take over your thoughts. Like an experienced swimmer in rough seas, don't let the waves sink your boat. Instead, use them to move you forward. We need to change how we think about rejection in order to change it. Instead of seeing rejection as a roadblock, see it as a sign that points you in the direction of new possibilities and paths. Invest in things that feed your essence and expand your views. Get lost in a tough book, play a sport that pushes you to your limits, or get involved in community projects that give you new ideas. These activities aren't just fun, they're ways to learn about yourself and grow as a person. Each new experience makes you stronger and more flexible. Also, cultivate a good group. Spend time with people who motivate and excite you. Talk about your goals and listen to theirs in a space that helps both of you grow. Remember that being turned down does not mean you are not worthy. It's an opportunity to find yourself again and start over. As you go along this road, you'll learn that what seemed like painful rejection was really a push in the right direction. Don't act on your feelings without thinking first. Third important point, don't respond emotionally without thinking. When someone turns you down, it's normal to feel a lot of different emotions, to want to react and let your feelings out. But there is a useful method that comes from the Guide to Serenity. When someone tells you off, it can be tempting to give in to your anger or sadness. Stoicism, on the other hand, is a philosophy that is just as applicable today as it was in ancient Greece. It makes us put ourselves in a calm and reflective state. This doesn't mean hiding our feelings. It means not letting them control us when we don't pay attention to them. Instead of getting angry or looking for validation from outside sources, stop and reflect. Why does this affect me? Most of the time, our own fears hurt us more than the rejection itself. We need to be practical. If someone is ignoring you, take a deep breath and tell yourself that this moment doesn't make you who you are. It's just a brief instance. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to our own actions and responses instead of how other people act. So, be nice and kind at all times. If you feel the need to talk to mind, do so honestly and without any expectations. Being this way is not disinterest, it's mental control. Know that the acceptance of other people does not affect your self-esteem. How you react is what gives you power, not how other people treat you. Adopting this way of thinking isn't easy, but it does change things. You are not only handling a challenging situation, but also growing by keeping serenity in the face of rejection. You learn that outward validation is not necessary for inner peace. On this path to self-confidence, you will learn how to value yourself on your own. You show real strength and perseverance by taking this method, which is very desirable in and of itself. Some people are naturally drawn to people who are sure of themselves and don't get upset at the first sign of not caring. You can not only deal with the problem, but also do well in it if you stay calm. You grow as a person by learning how to deal with failure and using it to push you forward. A way of inner strength and mental stability, this is Stoic wisdom. Fourth and most important, show what you're worth. This really tests how strong you are. View each rejection as a chance to show your strength and skill, not as a failure. Take a big breath if you are passed over for a raise or in a meeting. Don't give in to feelings of self-pity or anger. Instead, use that energy to do something good. Take the lead in a new task or work on a project that shows off your skills. Remember that other people's lack of appreciation doesn't make you less valuable. In fact, it makes you shine even better. If someone doesn't care about you, remember the saying, when one door closes, another opens. This is not just comforting words, it's a plan for what to do. Rejection can be a wake-up call to where your skills are most needed, rather than reflecting your true worth. If you are being passed over for a job, it could mean that you need to look for something that fits your skills and interests better. This should make you reevaluate your skills and look for ways to make the most of them. Now is the time to write your own story of success, where each setback becomes the setting for a successful return. Finding happiness after being let down isn't the point. The point is to feel all of your feelings and move on with grace and drive. Stoicism advises us to concentrate on what we can control, our deeds and responses. Understand how others feel when they are rejected. Do this for yourself as well. That coworker who doesn't seem to care could be dealing with their own problems. You shouldn't see expanding your knowledge as a sign of weakness, but as a sign of strength. Grow from these events, affirm your worth, reflect, and learn to become better and smarter than you were before. In other words, rejection is not the end of your story. It's a turning point that makes you more true to yourself and strong. You can turn your biggest fear into your biggest partner for personal growth and success if you face it with the wisdom of the ages and the energy of youth. Fifth important point, lessen touch. It is natural to want to try to fix the situation, start talking to the other person, and fill the hole that has been left when someone doesn't care or rejects you. That being said, now is the time to change the mood and enjoy the silence. You're not playing a game, you're confirming your independence by deciding not to text or call the other person all the time. One important thing to do is to step back. This break is good for both of you. You can reset and tell yourself that your worth doesn't rest on what other people think of you. To get a better sense of this idea, we can say that the silence here is not inactive, but purposeful and planned. You are growing and thinking, not just waiting. Now is the time to turn your attention back to your daily life, goals, and hobbies. Think of this as a reset button that gives you power and focus. This time of not talking to them is not a sign of coldness or abuse. It's just a way for you to set limits for your own mental peace. You're making it clear, I value myself too much to try to get attention or beg for it. Taking this stance is not only freeing, but it also gives you power. How you feel about yourself and your confidence is shown by this. You send a strong message when you don't say anything. In a world where people are used to getting answers right away, your silence can be mysterious and even beautiful. It shows that you are not easily upset and have other things that are more important to you than this rejection. To show that you are strong, focused, and not depending on outside validation, it's not about making someone feel bad or pulling them back. This plan might not change how other people act, but it will change how you act, making you stronger, more focused, and ready to handle future difficulties with ease and balance. Cutting down on touch is a way to take care of yourself and affirm your worth. It also sets you up to move forward in your life with confidence and honor. The sixth basic point is showing that you can do something. The real art of rejection isn't just proving other people wrong, it's also about showing yourself what you can do. This book is about how to use a no as fire for your own growth and success. If someone questions your skills in a certain area, this is your chance to improve those skills. The goal is not to get praise from other people, but to go beyond what you think you can do. Commit to learning, work hard at practicing, and you'll reach a level of skill that seemed impossible before. For those who are skeptical, this isn't a showy act. It's a quiet, steady build-up of your skills and confidence. Think about how your deeds will affect people more than what you say. You don't need to tell everyone about your ideas or success. Let the results do the talking. By doing that, you not only go beyond what other people expect, but you also go beyond what you think you can do. With each step on this path, you show yourself that you are capable and valuable, regardless of what other people think. Finding your own support is where the real power of resolve lies. It's not about getting other people to like you. If they tell you that you're not creative, do a job that shows how creative you are. If people think you're being vague, let your deeds speak for themselves. This quiet movement of self-improvement is not a fight against how other people see you. It's a path to becoming the best version of yourself. You change your own essence by changing the story other people have about you. To really show them they're wrong, you need to change how you see yourself, not how they think. Others will be surprised by your journey to self-improvement, and it will also change how they see your skills. It's not enough to show them they're wrong. You need to change what it means to be right. The best thing about this trip is understanding that the only validation that matters is the one you give yourself. Seventh important point: have fun and look around. Seeking joy is not just a form of fun, but also a smart way to build strength and resolve in the face of rejection, if life truly shines outside of your comfort zone. The typical reaction may be to shut down and stew in resentment, but I propose an evolving strategy. To fight that urge, you should consciously look for times when you're happy. It's not about ignoring your feelings. It's about giving them a new place to grow. By trying out a new hobby or getting excited about an old love, this action becomes a statement of pushback against the weight of rejection. People are naturally social, and sharing stories during hard times can be very helpful. If you care about your neighborhood, get together with friends for a walk, work on an art project together, or just enjoy a meal with good people. These times of connection do more than just make you feel better. They remind you of your place in the web of relationships between people. Every silent laugh and story you tell each other is a gentle reminder that you are stronger than your problems. You are a part of a bigger story that grows stronger when people connect with each other and work together. Facing the unknown is where the real magic is. Being turned down may seem like it shuts one door, but it actually opens a lot of others. Try a new type of food, check out a neighborhood you haven't been to before, or sign up for a lesson on a subject you don't know much about. These events are more than just escapes. They're chances to grow as a person. Every new experience makes you more flexible, understanding, and ready for the unexpected things that happen in life. Remember that the goal is not to forget about being turned down, but to grow from it and use each no as a push to live a fuller, more interesting life. Eighth important point: raise your social standing. Imagine being in a place where no one is paying attention to you or is almost unnoticeable. There is a chance here that is hidden. Stoic philosophy tells us to use times of being turned down as opportunities to grow as people. Focus on self-improvement and group involvement rather than seeking outward validation. It's not about moving up the social ladder. It's about moving up the ladder of your own personal growth. Routine jobs like working out, pursuing hobbies, or moving up in your business are not just things you do. They help you become stronger and more adaptable. Sharing your journey shouldn't be done to get attention, but to connect with other people. When you talk about your hobbies or accomplishments, see it as a chance to meet people who share your interests. This process is not a way to get more fans. It's a real attempt to make relationships that matter. Not only do charity work and networking help your image, but they also help you build a useful network of relationships. Stoicism, where personal development and doing good for others go hand in hand, is where this method has its roots. In order to raise your social status, purpose is the most important thing. The goal is to improve yourself, not to gain fame. Every step should help you grow as a person and make the world a better place. This shift in thinking is very important. It's not about being known. It's about learning from others, growing, and then helping them grow. This Stoic way of thinking helps you get through life today, and it can turn rejection into a strong force for good change. Take advantage of every chance to improve your social standing in a way that shows who you are and what you want to become, which will have a positive effect on you and the people around you. The ninth important thing is to show mutual apathy. A strong and effective reaction to someone ignoring you might be to do nothing. This way of thinking isn't mean or cold. It's about keeping your own peace. Let someone ignore you if they want to. Don't waste time or energy trying to get their attention or start a conversation. Instead, put your attention somewhere else. In social settings like parties, This could mean looking for someone who likes having you there and starting a chat with them. It means you know your worth isn't based on what other people think of you. When you have to deal with this person, which you will, make sure you are professional. Do not go into too much personal detail in your talks. Keep them short and to the point. The goal is not to beat them, but to stay responsible and objective. With this plan, there is no room for needless drama, and it sends the message, I am here for what really matters, not for the games. This helps to keep the focus on what is important, even when people don't care. If the disrespect doesn't go away, know how powerful it is to pull away. This is not a loss. It is a planned departure. Recognize that putting your energy into the things, people and relationships that make you happy and help you grow is more important. You are not only moving away from a certain person when you choose not to get into an unfair argument, you are also moving toward better chances, healthy relationships, and a more peaceful state of mind. Your approach to dealing with disinterest does not reflect failure, but rather your strength and respect for yourself. Remember that sometimes the most powerful and respectful answers are to say nothing or not care. This method is a quiet statement of freedom and independence. By showing mutual disinterest, you're not only avoiding a fight, but also showing that you put your own peace of mind above the need to be noticed or liked. This position shows that you are sure of yourself and know what your goals and limits are. To sum up, ignoring them is not a way to isolate yourself. It's a way to feel good about yourself and gain power. Use the wisdom of the world's best thinkers to take charge of your life. In the 21st century, Stoicism will help you be strong, happy, and wealthy. Change problems into wins, stress into strength, and doubt into clarity. Launch your Stoic journey to a life of success and happiness by clicking on the link in the saved comment right now. Get your book right now. 10th important point. Try being quiet on purpose. Deciding to stay quiet instead of responding with indifference is not a way to get ahead. It's a way to keep your respect. Stoicism tells us not to use silence to provoke or control others, but to use it for self-reflection and in control of our emotions. When words could be misunderstood or make things worse between people, choosing silence is a good way to stay honest and in control. Because of this, you can focus more on growing as a person instead of getting stuck in a loop of bad feelings and reactions. If someone ignores you and you keep quiet in response, use that time to think about yourself. Now is the time to figure out how you feel, what you're thinking, and get clear. The point is not to punish the other person, but to keep your own peace. There is a great chance for inner improvement in this silence. It's not about shutting out the world, but about becoming more aware of yourself. This is a time for reflection on our virtues, beliefs, and how we want to act in the world, according to Stoicism. You can ask yourself, why does this matter to me? What does this teach me? What can I do to grow from here? The sound of this kind of calm is helpful, not harmful. The time has come to develop character and make sure that deeds are in line with personal values. Because of this, if you choose silence, do so on purpose and based on self-care and wisdom. There is a choice to not act in lowly ways like lying, cheating, or being mean. The Stoic call for temperance and self-control is instead embraced. You're avoiding the other person and getting closer to yourself at the same time when you choose not to reply. This exercise helps you stay composed, concentrate on your own path, and live up to the Stoic ideal of serenity in the face of difficulty. Don't say anything. Let your quiet speak for itself, and let your inner peace lead you every step of the way. This intentional silence is a strong way to remember yourself that you are the best person to heal and guide your own life. It tells you that you can find the strength and wisdom inside you to rise above the situation and stay true to your values and beliefs, even if other people don't care. It's a practice that goes beyond the present moment and builds a strong base for personal growth and happiness. 11th point, don't beg for attention when no one is paying attention. Instead of trying to get attention, Stoic philosophy tells us to learn more about our own worth and freedom. When someone ignores you, it doesn't mean you should work harder to get their attention. Instead, it means you should think about yourself and remind yourself of how valuable you are. Stoicism tells us that our self-esteem shouldn't change based on how much or how little care other people give us. Standing strong in being self-led and knowing that your value is fixed and cannot be changed is what it means. Self-sufficiency is something you should bring to your projects and hobbies. This isn't about brag to make someone see what they're missing. It's about realizing how valuable what you give is. Create a life you can be proud of by engaging in things that make you happy, making bonds with people who care about you, and doing so. This is not a passive state of mind. It's a lively and energetic acceptance of your own existence. The desire of outward validation becomes less important when you spend so much in your own happiness and growth. So, instead of chasing attention that will fade, work on improving yourself. Create a life that makes you happy, no matter what other people think. Don't let the need for recognition guide you. Let your self-confidence and security. Indifference can be used to boost your drive and help you understand your own worth more deeply. You make the decisions in your life, and each one should reflect your true worth, not your need to please other people. Self-empowerment is what you are doing by taking this stand. When you don't try to get respect, you show that you value yourself more than any praise from other people. You can change how you see yourself and how other people see you by making this choice. Being honest and having high self-esteem come from this attitude, which has a bigger effect than any attempt to get respect. Your quest for self-improvement and happiness gives you a confidence boost and makes people naturally drawn to you. Stoicism teaches the value of depending on one's inner strength and worth, regardless of external situations, which is the essence of what it teaches. So, the next time someone doesn't care about you, remember that how you respond to them can be a strong statement of your own worth and independence. 12th point. When someone doesn't care about you, being kind while keeping your emotions in check is the most appropriate thing to do. This doesn't mean taking a cold stand. It means keeping your inner serenity safe. It's normal to feel hurt or angry when someone doesn't respond to you, but Stoicism tells us to face these things not with anger or sadness, but with peace and calm in our hearts. Give someone a smile, a friendly hello, or a simple good day wish without asking anything in return. Being kind should come from the heart, not because you want something in return. Building walls around yourself is not the same thing as keeping emotional distance. Keeping emotional distance means setting clear limits. This means realizing that you can only control your own deeds and not how other people react to them. The fact that you keep your feelings to yourself is not a sign of weakness, but of strength and self-respect. Making the choice not to let other people's acts affect how you feel is a choice. Being nice but quiet shows that you won't let other people's lack of interest bother your peace of mind. This method not only keeps your mental health safe, but it also gives you power. Being kind while keeping your emotions in check is a strong way to show Stoic wisdom. This balance lets people be kind to each other while still being emotionally honest. It reflects growth and knowledge and is a sign of self-respect and consideration for others. When things don't go your way, you don't react with anger or sadness, but with serenity and self-respect. It's possible to keep a calm spirit and a grateful heart toward yourself and others, even when you're in the midst of indifference, as you'll learn by practicing this balance. By adopting this attitude, you'll discover that life is not only more manageable, but also more rewarding, characterized by profound serenity and unwavering respect for your own path and worth. 13. Don't talk about your problems with other people. It may be tempting to talk about your problems with people who don't care, but Stoicism teaches us to value staying calm. This doesn't mean acting like everything is fine. It means getting stronger on the inside. The ability to not show emotion is not a lie. It is a sign of real inner calm. Keep living your life with the same drive and energy you always have, not to impress other people, but to show your own strength. This focus isn't about hiding your thoughts. Feel them, but don't let them take over. Don't worry and have faith in yourself. You can control what you can, your actions, responses, and behavior. Staying sure of yourself shows others that you are strong and also helps you believe in your own strength. It's a quiet but strong way to say that your sense of self-worth is not based on what other people think or do. The Stoic philosophy of mental fortitude is essentially what you are doing by keeping your problems to yourself. It's not about hiding your feelings. It's about dealing with them in a way that keeps your pride and honor. Showing that you are set in your own character and not moved by outside events is a sign of wisdom and honesty. Your response to rejection is a reflection of your inner strength and stability, not just for the benefit of the outside world to see. By learning these strong lessons, we can turn being turned down into a plus. Remember that every no you hear is a lesson in Stoicism that teaches us how to use our inner strength. I challenge you to live your life by the ideas of Stoicism and courage. A big change in viewpoint is seeing rejection not as a problem, but as a chance to learn more about yourself and grow. What an exciting adventure it will be to read about your struggles and successes. Notifications should be turned on, and you should leave a message below. As proof that you've learned something from our session, share your journey, celebrate your successes, and even talk about your problems. Every contact makes our community stronger by pushing us toward wisdom, understanding, and most importantly, the ability to turn every problem into a chance. We're all here to learn how to be stoic and strong. Until our next video, stay strong and tough. Imagine having a very clear sense of purpose every day, not being affected by failures or the chaos around you, and always being focused on what really counts. Do you agree that it sounds almost superhuman? Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a Stoic philosopher, lived like this every day. He was one of the most powerful people in history. Thoughts from thousands of years ago have been preserved in his personal notes, which are shockingly up-to-date tips on how to use the power of self-discipline in the midst of life's noise. Today, we're going to get to the heart of Stoicism and look at its principles not as vague ideas, but as useful tools for living a more focused and happy life. Stoicism shows us how to use hardships to our benefit, mental turmoil to peace, and the unknowns of life as a source of strength. For those who are dealing with daily worries, seeking inner peace, or wanting to be more productive, learning about the Stoic way of life can help you in a world full of constant distractions and quick gratifications. The virtues of wisdom, courage, fairness, and moderation are the foundation of the Stoic philosophy. Life isn't just about getting through it, it's about living in it, no matter what. First, you need to find your purpose before you can be self-disciplined. Self-discipline starts with understanding your purpose, which is at the heart of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy. What does it really mean to find your purpose, though? You need to figure out what really means to you, what drives you, and then make sure that your daily actions are in line with that greater calling. In Stoic terms, knowing your place in the bigger picture and acting in accordance with your virtues are two things Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about. Aurelius didn't just see purpose as a high ideal, he used it as a real guide to make all of his decisions, from small ones to big ones. In his mind, knowing your purpose is what gets you out of bed in the morning, ready to take on the day's tasks. In times when you want to give up, it's what makes you strong. And it's not about big accomplishments or praise from other people. It's about doing the things that life has given you to do and being honest and committed to each one. These days, it can be hard to figure out what your purpose is. There are many options and things to do in this world that can pull us away from our real roots. This is where Stoic wisdom is not only useful, it's necessary. Stoicism teaches us to get past our shallow wants and short-lived feelings to find what is really important for our growth and well-being. We should ask ourselves, what is really worth my time and energy? Why are the things I'm doing today good for me and the world? As we talk about how to use this idea in our daily lives, think about what you are naturally pulled to, what makes you happy, or what problems you want to fix. You can figure out your purpose from these. Once they are known, the Stoic practice of daily reflection is very helpful. You can cultivate the self-discipline required to live a worthwhile and powerful life by constantly matching your actions with your purpose, saying no to things that don't serve you and yes to things that do. Marcus Aurelius had a great idea that we should use every day. Every morning, ask yourself, what do I need to do today? And every night, have I lived my life according to my purpose? You will become more self-disciplined, and your life will become more meaningful and rewarding as you do this every day. Second, have faith in yourself. The value of depending on oneself was a recurrent theme in Marcus Aurelius's thoughts on self-discipline. The Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes the value of personal responsibility and freedom, includes the concept of count on yourself in addition to self-reliance. This isn't about being alone or turning down help from others. It's about realizing that we are ultimately responsible for our actions, responses, and personal growth. If you follow Stoicism, you should focus on the things you can control. Aurelius talked a lot about how powerful the self is in facing the problems that life brings us. We use our inner strength and perseverance when we depend on ourselves. This principle tells us to have faith in our own skills to handle the ups and downs of life. Confidence is gained through skill and a full understanding of one's own capabilities and virtues, not through arrogance. Being independent can be freeing and scary at the same time in today's linked world, where advice and views are always close at hand. It can be hard to learn how to listen to our inner thoughts. Stoicism, on the other hand, tells us to ignore the noise and trust our well-informed decisions. Because it is based on reason and virtue, Aurelius thought that this inner direction was the most trustworthy advice that a person could have. By relying on ourselves, we also gain the freedom to make our own choices. It helps us make decisions that are in line with our ideals and beliefs, instead of letting outside forces or short-term feelings affect us. Maintaining personal ethics and living a life that is true to oneself need this freedom. How then can we start to trust ourselves? Making promises and following them, setting personal goals and working on them on our own, and taking the time to reflect on our choices and how they fit with our core values are the first small steps. Over time, these habits increase our self-control and strength, which makes us more stable and strong in the face of adversity. Third, be there every day. Marcus Aurelius always talked about how important it was to keep going, to show up every day, both physically and spiritually. This practice isn't about putting in huge amounts of work all at once. It's about doing small things every day with discipline, which adds up to a structured life. For Aurelius, showing up every day was the same thing as living a stoic life in line with nature. He thought that nature didn't just want us to live, but also to take part in life and make a difference in the world through our deeds, no matter how small or ordinary they may seem. Every day was a new chance to show how committed you are to your tasks and beliefs, not to fight big battles. Being consistent and putting in work every day is how character is built and tested. The idea of showing up every day is even more important in today's world, where there are many distractions and inspiration can fade quickly. Sometimes you feel motivated and then lose your way the next day. Stoicism shows us the importance of being consistent in this situation. True discipline is something we cultivate by acting consistently, not by being extremely hard. This doesn't mean that every day has to be a work of art. It just means that you shouldn't let a day go by without noticing or using it. No matter if we want to move up in our careers, get healthier, or improve our relationships, all we have to do is make the simple, but often forgotten, promise to show up every day. Aside from that, being present in the present and doing today's work without worrying about yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's problems is a big part of the Stoic practice of mindfulness. A lot of what Marcus Aurelius wrote was about focused on the moment and doing the job at hand as well as you can. Routine becomes practice, and effort becomes progress when this is the goal. Start small in order to cultivate this habit. Figure out what it means to you to show up. For example, you could write one line of that book you've been wanting to write, work out for 5 minutes, or spend 10 minutes alone with a loved one. Not the size of the scale that changes us, but the act of showing up. You strengthen your willpower and develop the perseverance that defines Stoic philosophy every day you keep your promise. Follow the Stoic belief in personal duty and constant self-improvement by doing this every day. You show that even though we can't always control what happens, we can always control how we try. We develop the discipline we need to live a meaningful and satisfying life by consistently showing up. Number 4. Put yourself through choice suffering. Marcus Aurelius strongly pushed this Stoic practice, which is about a lot more than just making life hard on purpose. It's about getting ready for the unexpected things that happen in life, building strength, and becoming more grateful for what you have. Like many Stoics, Marcus Aurelius thought that willingly feeling uncomfortable strengthens the mind for times when life might force pain upon us. This could mean giving up some nice things, going through tough physical tasks, or just denying yourself in small, everyday choices. The reasoning is simple. Sudden problems won't throw you off if you're used to dealing with them. To use a metaphor, you're building up your endurance so that you can handle the problems of life with a clear head. But why choose to be uncomfortable when the world is always trying to make us feel better? Stoic philosophy itself holds the key to the solution. A lot of growth takes place on the edges of safety zones. We try and grow our mental and emotional limits when we choose to go into places that aren't as safe for us. This practice isn't about hurting yourself. It's about changing our view of comfort from something we have to something we can choose not to have. You also cultivate thankfulness by engaging in personal suffering. Everyday comforts are easy to take for granted, but when you have to go without them for a while, you really value them. This could be as easy as missing a meal, which can make you appreciate the food you do have even more, or choosing to walk instead of drive, which can make you appreciate your health and movement even more. Also, intentional suffering links us to the truth that every day many people have to live with. This link can help us understand other people better, be more empathetic, and have a better grasp on what it means to be human. It can also help us feel more grounded in the world we share with them. How then can we make this a part of our lives? Start out small. Pick something you can handle. You could get up an hour earlier, spend less time on technology for a day, or take the stairs instead of the lift. The important thing is not how hard things are, but how often and why they are done that way. Every act of pain that you choose to do is a step toward mental strength and self-discipline. Fifth, work on the duality of control. This theory tells us what we can control and what we can't, and it tells us to put all of our energy into controlling what we can. Our approach to life's problems can be deeply changed by this seemingly simple idea, which can also help us feel more at peace and resilient while lowering anxiety. So, what exactly do we have control over? Stoicism says that our actions, responses, and decisions are the main causes of events. The things that give us power are our ideas, our will, and our reactions. We have no direct control over anything outside of ourselves, like the weather, other people's acts, or events happening around the world. It was important to Marcus Aurelius that we don't let things outside of our control make us upset. He said this many times in his thoughts. Realizing this is the first step in practicing the dichotomy of control. We can affect what happens in the outside world, but we can't completely control it. The Stoic learns to accept this truth not as a fact to be ignored, but as a truth that frees them. Regardless of the situation, we can stay calm and productive by focusing on our own actions and letting go of our connection to results. This doesn't mean we stop caring about or being affected by the world. Instead, it means we interact with it in a more positive way, putting our efforts where they can really make a difference. To use the division of control in everyday life, we need to ask ourselves, is this within my control? Before you do anything in a situation, Stoic philosophy advises letting it go and moving on if it isn't. It's not easy to do this, of course. To be good at it, we need to practice being aware and sometimes remind ourselves of what we can really change. This habit also changes how we set goals and expect things to happen in real life. We all want to reach our goals, but if we base our happiness or sense of self-worth on results that are controlled by many outside factors, we will only be disappointed. Stoicism, on the other hand, tells us to be content with the effort we make, the goal itself, and our commitment to our ideals. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius did not promise an easy life. Instead, they offered a way to keep your peace and honor no matter what happens in your life. Not only does following this principle make our own lives better, but it can also have an effect on those around us by showing them how to stay calm and strong when life throws us curveballs. Sixth tip, never make someone else look bad. This idea requires a deep knowledge of one's own duty and a Stoic dedication to mastering oneself. Stoicism pushes us to take control of our views and responses rather than giving in to a victim mindset where one sees themselves as an inactive receiver of life's difficulties. The Stoic view that our happiness and peace of mind depend more on our inner state than on what happens in the outside world is based on this idea of strength. It's not meant to downplay the problems or unfair things that people may have to deal with. Rather, it's meant to shift the attention from what happens to us to how we deal with it. Aurelius thought that every outside event gives us a choice. How will we let this shape who we are? We reject the idea that our mental health is dependent on outside factors when we refuse to play the sufferer. Coming to this understanding frees you and lets you grow and be stronger as a person. To put this theory into practice, we begin by noticing how we usually handle tough scenarios. Do we look for outside causes or other people to blame right away? Do we spend our time whining instead of doing something about it? To break these habits, we don't have to hide our feelings. Instead, we need to understand them better and focus our energy in a more positive way. It means being aware of our hurts and losses while also being aware of our ability to move on. Additionally, this Stoic teaching tells us to see every problem as a chance to develop virtue and strength in our character. This point of view is essentially constructive and powerful. It changes times when we might feel useless into times when we have a choice and can take action. Every problem we face is a chance to show how much we care about our ideals and how strong, persistent, and resilient we are, characteristics that describe the Stoic ideal. We live up to the Stoic ideal of mental freedom by never blaming others. We build a wall of peace and calm inside ourselves that lets us interact with the world in a more open and honest way. Being cold or uncaring isn't what this means. Instead, it means getting to a point where the ups and downs of life don't easily make us unhappy. So, no matter what life throws at us, we live in line with our core values instead of letting our situations decide how we live. Seventh, learn to wait to get what you want. Marcus Aurelius pushed this idea as more than just a personal practice. He saw it as a way to get more freedom and happiness. Stoics believe that controlling your urges by waiting satisfaction is not about giving up pleasure, but about finding a better form of joy that fits with your values and long-term goals. According to the Stoics, delayed pleasure means putting off short-term wants in order to get bigger and longer-lasting benefits. It's about making decisions that might not make you happy right away, but will lead to long-term happiness and growth as a person. In today's society of fast everything, where being able to wait for something better is rare and valuable, this concept is especially important. Stoics like Aurelius believed that delaying satisfaction was also a way to keep control over one's wants. He thought that being bound to temporary pleasures could make a person lose their freedom because they would be forced to follow their whims and desires. Instead, we cultivate a life that is not only full of short-term joys, but also of long peace and happiness by practicing control and basing our decisions on reason and planning. Making easy changes to your habits can help you start using delayed satisfaction in your daily life. It could mean putting money away instead of spending it on impulse, picking a healthy meal over fast food, or even setting aside time to study or practice a skill instead of doing something fun right away. Each of these options supports the Stoic practice of putting long-term benefits ahead of short-term pleasure or ease. Also, there are many benefits to this habit. For example, study in psychology supports the Stoic view by showing that delaying pleasure can lead to better results in work, school, health, and relationships. People who can wait to get what they want are often better at dealing with stress, meeting their goals, and living healthy, happier lives. 8. Ignore people who say bad things. Not listening to bad feedback isn't the only thing this idea is about. It's also about building mental toughness so you can stay true to your beliefs and focused on your goals, even when other people question. People who follow the Stoic philosophy believe that the acceptance or disapproval of others is outside of their control and should not be used for personal validation or direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote a lot about focusing on actions and thoughts that you can control. He stressed that real peace comes from inside and can't be shaken by comments from others. This Stoic apathy isn't about ignoring other people. It's about keeping your own sense of control. It tells us to block out noise that doesn't support our higher purpose or match our ideals. Ignoring critics is very important in today's world, where everyone has an opinion and criticism is often just a click away. It means realizing that negative criticism shouldn't stop us from our goals, but helpful criticism can help us grow. This difference is very important. Stoicism teaches us to think about where the feedback we get is coming from and what it's trying to say. Is it fair? Is it meant well? Does it fit with what we believe in? Using this idea also means making your own philosophy strong enough to stand up to outside forces. It means being sure of your choices and actions, not because you're cocky, but because you know your own values and goals very well. Marcus Aurelius did this every day, both as a leader and as a person trying to live a virtue-filled life in a complicated world. Ignoring naysayers also makes us emotionally stronger, so we don't respond as strongly to bad views and can focus more on our long-term goals. Being able to break out of the social validation loop and stay true to yourself is both rare and powerful in a society that puts a lot of value on it. Ignoring people who don't agree with you is a Stoic practice that helps us protect our mental space and choose where to put our emotional energy. It's about not letting noise from outside our heads take our attention away from the conversation going on inside our heads that really shapes our lives. Live for 9. Look for smart people to be like. This idea comes from the idea that we can learn a lot about ourselves and grow as people if we watch and reflect on the lives of people who have learned the virtues we want to develop. To be like smart people, we don't have to copy them, but we can learn from them to improve our own character and reasoning. Even though Marcus Aurelius was ruler, he wrote a lot about how much he admired people, both past and present. Being like these people was a way for him to take on their skills and virtues. For him and other Stoics, wisdom wasn't just information that could be put into words. It was also a way to live a good life. The best way to understand this was to look at the deeds of people who have used these ideas in real life. In Stoic thought, picking someone to imitate means finding someone who embodies the Stoic virtues of temperance, courage, wisdom, and justice. These people could be real figures, people who lived at the same time, or even characters from stories and fiction who show traits like strength, morality, and smart thought. The important thing is to find people whose lives show you how to deal with problems with ease and drive. Putting this theory into practice today means choosing role models whose values are in line with our goals. It's not enough to just admire these people. You need to think about how they live their lives, make choices, and deal with problems. To improve our behavior and choices, this practice makes us think, what about this person's way of doing things or way of thinking can I use in my own life? Also, trying to be like smart people can help you connect vague intellectual ideas with real-life deeds. It shows how the ideas of the Stoics can be put into practice. So these ideas are not only easier to understand, but they also become more important when we see how the Stoic virtues affect the lives of people we respect. We are engaged in an active form of learning and self-improvement when we look for and imitate smart people. We are more committed to growth and success when we take a strategic attitude to personal development. By spending time with good people, we set a high bar for our own actions and choices, which helps us become the smart people we want to be like. Number 10. Tell the truth about your day. This exercise includes a deep and thoughtful study of one's thoughts, actions and reactions throughout the day, not just a retelling of events. You have to figure out if these actions are in line with your beliefs and the Stoic virtues, like balance, justice, wisdom, and bravery. It's important to think about yourself because it acts as a feedback loop that makes you more aware of your choices and actions. For Stoics, the purpose of this daily review isn't to focus on errors or engage in self-criticism, but rather to watch and make changes. It means learning something new every day and using that new information to keep getting better. By using this method, Marcus Aurelius made sure that he was not only doing his job as ruler, but also improving as a person and a philosopher. It can be very helpful to incorporate this technique into everyday life. Every day should end with a moment of quiet reflection, says the poem. You can ask yourself a few important questions at this point, such as, how did I handle challenges today? Did I follow my values when I did what I did? How could I have done better? Did I lose control of things at times? If so, why? When you think about these things, you become more self-aware and learn how to live a more thoughtful and mindful life. At the end of each day, this practice can help you feel at peace and finished. It lets you deal with any worries or thoughts that are still bothering you by facing them head-on instead of putting them off until the next day. It's easy to lose sight of our bigger goals in today's busy world, where there are lots of distractions and stress. This can be especially helpful. When you honestly think back on your day, you hold yourself accountable in a way that is both gentle and strict. It's about understanding your skills and identifying places where you can improve without judging yourself. This Stoic habit teaches you to be both a student and a teacher on your life's journey, constantly learning from your own experiences and trying to live up to the virtues that define Stoicism. It also helps you to develop resilience and wisdom. Over time, this habit can change not only how you see each day, but also how you live your life, making each day more in line with the values you hold dear. Imagine that you wake up to a mess of coffee, a misted alarm, and a flood of important emails. Imagine getting stuck in traffic after being late for a very important meeting. During these times, worry and anger can be too much to handle. It's like being on a boat being tossed around by big waves and desperately trying to stay steady. This is where Stoicism comes in. It is an old philosophy that is still very useful today. It's not about hiding your feelings or ignoring the troubles in your life. Instead, Stoicism gives us a way to deal with these everyday problems in a calm and clear way. We look at 7 rules that will help you learn how to stop worrying and let go. Each of these rules is a shining example of Stoic wisdom that will help you find peace within yourself. These ideas, which come from Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epicurus, are more than just intellectual ideas. They are useful tools for everyday life that give us a break from the fast-paced world we live in. As we start this path, think of this as your call to a Stoic waking. These principles are not only ways to find peace in your own life, they are also a way for everyone to get through life's storms with a steady hand and a calm heart. Let's start. The first rule is to know what you can control. Keeping things under control is one of the most important Stoic ideas. When we want to learn how to not care about things, we need to know what we can control and what we can't. With the wisdom to understand the distinction between these two worlds, the Stoic finds serenity here. There are 2 types of control, which is a simple but deep idea. It tells us that we can only control our own actions, thoughts, and feelings. Other people's actions, outside events and results, are mostly out of our control. The modern Stoic then learns to focus their energy only where it can make a difference, and to let go of anxiety over things they can't control. Think about what it's like to drive to work every day in heavy traffic, the anger of constant stops and starts, and the impatience as the minutes pass. We often have these responses because they feel like they are under our control. In reality, though, they're not. Instead, the Stoic traveler thinks about what they could do with this time, like listen to a podcast, do breathing exercises, or just look out the window and watch the world go by. Even though the traffic stays the same, the way you experience it changes. Using this idea to explain current worries might require a change in how we use technology. Instead of getting angry when a device breaks or an app crashes, a Stoic person would quietly look for a solution or do something else that doesn't involve technology. This small change in how we see things has big effects on our peace of mind. In the workplace, this concept could mean putting more effort into your work ethic, learning, and professional growth instead of worrying too much about getting promoted or getting noticed. You can change these results by what you do, but you can't fully control them. You can be more productive and get more credit for your work if you focus on what you can control instead of worrying about what will happen. This concept isn't just about not getting frustrated, though. It's also about giving people power. To understand how much control you really have over your decisions, your thoughts, and your plans. It's about how to use that power to make a happy, purposeful life. You become an active partner in your life instead of a helpless consumer of outside events when you focus on what you can control. We suffer more often in fantasy than in reality, as the great Stoic Seneca put it. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. By focused on the present moment and the things we can touch, change, and affect, we can let go of these weighty worries. We can apply this idea to our mental lives as well. It's easy to get angry or hurt after someone says something upsetting or insulting about you. Even so, these responses are choices. Stoicism tells us that we have a choice in how we react. We could choose to understand or even not care about someone's actions instead of being angry at them. This way, their actions would not affect our inner peace. This Stoic principle can be truly adopted by practicing it every day through meditation or reflection, thinking about what happened that day and figuring out what was and wasn't in your control. As we keep doing this, it can help us feel very calm inside as we realize how little we really need to worry about and how much energy we have to focus on what really matters. To achieve Stoic serenity, you must first recognize what you can control. It blocks out the noise of pointless worry so we can concentrate on our own actions and attitudes. When fully applied to our lives, this principle frees us and shows us how much power we have to make our own peace of mind. Second rule, enjoy the present time. The Stoics saw the present as life itself, not just a quick stop on the way to somewhere else. One of the most important Stoic practices is to focus on the present moment. This helps us not get caught up in guilt or fears about the future. This principle is about being aware, which means focusing on the present moment and finding meaning in things that seem ordinary. We can only control the present moment, but we often forget to enjoy it. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher, told himself to live each moment as if it were his last. He was able to cultivate a deep respect for life and a focus that cut through confusion and anxiety in the process. Practicing being in the present moment can be hard in the 21st century. Our phones vibrate with alerts, which takes our attention away from talking, eating, and quiet times to reflect. A lot of the time, our minds are somewhere else, like the meeting tomorrow or the fight yesterday. However, the Stoic learns to block out the noise and stay in the present. As you eat dinner with your family, your mind is on a job that is due next week at work. If you practiced Stoicism, you would be fully present at the table, enjoying the food, contributing to the talk, and making a memory. It's not about ignoring your duties, it's about making that person a priority. But how do you live in the present? It starts with being aware. You could just focus on your breath and how it feels as it comes in and out. This will help you stay in the present moment. It could also mean giving a job your full attention, like making a report or doing the dishes. Focus on one thing at a time. A Stoic tradition definition of enjoying the present includes not judging it. When it rains on a day you had planned to be outside, the Stoic way to deal with it is to see it as normal and find something good or useful in the situation. It could be a chance to reflect, read a book, or have a talk you didn't plan. This idea also applies to how we treat other people. Being present means paying attention when someone talks and not thinking about what to say next. Being with someone, not just near them, is important. Being present in this way can change relationships, making them stronger and more open. Letting go of the if-only thought process is another part of embracing the moment. Our thoughts of, if only I had done that, and if only I had done this, keep us stuck in the past, which is out of our control. The Stoics understood that the past should serve as a guide rather than a home. They told us to keep going, even though it was hard, and learn from it. A potent remedy for the anxiety and restlessness that come with modern life is the Stoic practice of living in the present. Find peace in the midst of chaos is what it's about. It means making the choice to not let your times pass you by without noticing or appreciating them. This doesn't mean it's wrong to reflect on the past or plan for the future. It just means we should do it with a strong sense of being in the here and now. In real life, accepting the present might mean setting aside time every day to do something that needs your full attention and disconnect from digital distractions. It could be as easy as taking a short walk and focusing on the sounds, sights, and feelings around you. It could also be an awareness exercise where you focus on noticing and appreciating things in your surroundings or at work. You could reflect on how well you stayed present that day each evening to truly incorporate this concept into your life. During what times did you really live? What and where did your mind go? This reflection can help you learn more about how to make the most of every day. When we focus on the here and now, we realize that life is a set of nows, and each one is a chance to live fully, learn, and show what we believe in. This is what Stoic practice is all about. Not just getting through life, but living it fully, richly, and with a deep appreciation for what it's like to be alive. Third principle, know that change is going to happen. Even though change is the only thing that never ends, we often fight it the hardest. Stoicism teaches us to accept change as a truth rather than an enemy that needs to be fought. Stoic philosophy is predicated on the idea of amor fati, or the love of one's fate. All of life's events are connected and should be accepted and loved, as they are all part of the bigger picture of existence. There are many ways that our lives can change: losing our jobs suddenly, moving without warning, ending a relationship, or even small changes that happen every day that throw off our habits. It might be easy to want to fight these changes, rant against them, and mourn our fate. What if, though, we let them in? Picture this. You've been fired from your job. It is normal to feel shocked and scared at first, but if you are a practiced Stoic, you would take a step back and see this as a chance to grow. This could be your chance to go after a job you've always been interested in, but never had the guts to try. It could also be the push you need to think again about what's really important in your job. Knowing our place in the natural world's pace is also important when we accept change as a normal part of life. The frost of winter gives way to the flowers of spring. So do our lives. There are times of growth, harvest, and even death. You can't stop this loop any more than you can stop the seasons from changing. We feel at peace when we let this spontaneous flow take over. This might entail, in the Stoic tradition, daily thoughts on the transience of our circumstances and the development of an adaptable mindset capable of coping with the ups and downs of daily life. It involves developing an inner fortitude that keeps us steady, whether we're in the midst of a storm or enjoying the sun. Tell the story of a tourist who gets to a new place and finds that his bags are missing. He can let this bother him on his trip, or he can choose to see it as an adventure, a chance to live simply and artistically, to use what he has, and maybe even learn something from it. Following this idea doesn't mean we don't plan for the future or don't deal with problems as they come up. It's more about a deep understanding that a lot of what we fear about change has nothing to do with the change itself, but with how we think about it. By working to change how we see things, we can turn what seems like an overwhelming problem into a way that we can follow. These days, technology and globalization make change happen faster than ever. This makes the Stoic acceptance of change more important than ever. We always have to get used to new ways of working, losing and making new friends, and the ways that our real and digital lives are changing. We not only become stronger when we accept change, but we also become more open to new experiences, lessons, and chances. So, Stoicism doesn't tell us to do nothing when things change. It wants us to be actively involved with it and to welcome each new turn with open minds and a readiness to change. We can be at peace with the world the way it is, not the way we want it to be. It's how we find happiness and purpose in the trip, even when things go wrong. To sum up, accepting change as a natural part of life is the same thing as accepting that things will change. It's about realizing that how well we can deal with the changes that come with life determines our own personal evolution. To accept what is happening instead of fighting it is what this message is telling us to do. When we do this, we can feel more freedom and happiness. Fourth principle: don't care about the results. The Stoics paid close attention to the human condition and noticed how people often let their wants control their actions. In the Stoic sense, mastering the art of not caring is not the same as being indifferent. It means developing a healthy distance from the outcomes of our actions. It's an acceptance that we can control what we do, but not always what it results in. At work, for example, we might work hard and show our skills in order to get a raise, but the choice will still be made by someone else. It's easy to feel disappointed and frustrated when we get too tied to the result, like getting the raise. The Stoic, on the other hand, cares deeply about the process and does the work well because it's important to them, not because they think it will earn them something. When it comes to personal goals and dreams, this idea can be very freeing. Take the case of an artist who makes things with the goal of getting noticed and praised. They might make choices about their work that aren't as creative when they're thinking about how people will react to it, which could hurt the quality of their work. The artist can focus on the art itself, the fun and challenge of creation, by letting go of the need for external validation. This often results in more genuine and interesting work, and strangely, more praise. Being non-attached to results also means being okay with the fact that not all of your efforts will lead to success. It's the realization that failing is not a reflection of our worth, but rather a necessary part of the process of learning from mistakes. This Stoic way of thinking makes people strong, so they can get over failures and start new things with unbounded joy, free from the weight of past losses. This concept works just as well in our daily lives. It's possible for months to plan an outdoor event that gets wet out. We could enjoy planning the event and look forward to it from a non-attached point of view, but we could also be ready to find joy in the meeting even if the plans change. It's the difference between saying, "This ruined everything," and "This is unexpected. Let's see what we can make of it." The Stoic way of not being attached also makes you feel more at peace with yourself. When we depend on certain results to be happy, we let things happen that are out of our control. By letting go of this bond, we stop suffering for no reason. No matter if the outside world matches our inner wants, we learn to be happy no matter what. Adopting this concept takes time and practice. It means telling ourselves often of what we can control and what we can't. It could mean making plans without getting stuck on specific goals, or it could mean picturing different results and being open to all of them. It definitely means changing our idea of what success is, so it's not about getting a certain result, but about living our lives according to our ideals and making the best of the situations we're in. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't set goals and work hard to reach them. Stoicism doesn't call for being passive. It calls for putting action over result. We are told to act with virtue and greatness, to give it our all, and to then take a step back and let things happen as they will. Finding a balance between action and acceptance is the essence of learning non-attachment to results. There should be no stress in the work, no anxiety in the goals, and a sense of purpose in life that isn't interrupted by the uncertain parts of it. It leads to freedom in the end, the freedom to live a full and deep life without being held back by a fear of failing or a fascination with success. If we follow this Stoic concept, we might find that the most satisfying and rewarding things in life happen when we don't care as much about the results as we do about the quality of our deeds. Fifth principle, see the value in problems. According to the Stoic philosophy, problems are not just put up with. They are seen as chances to learn and grow. We can learn a lot from problems by facing them head-on, learning from them, and coming out better. It is summed up in the saying, "The obstacle is the way," which was made famous by Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher. The idea is that the things that make us tough also make us grow and become more resilient. In today's world, problems can come in many forms, such as a tough work project, a tense relationship, money problems, or even personal issues like getting sick or failing. Our first response might be to see these problems as things that are getting in the way of our happiness or success. But if we take a Stoic view, we need to stop seeing problems as problems and start seeing them as lessons or even steps on the way to personal greatness. For example, think about the story of a young business owner whose first business fails. A non-Stoic person might see this as a sign to give up, but a Stoic person would look for what they could learn from the loss. What did the event teach you about the market, how to run a business, or your own limits? Focusing on these lessons will help the entrepreneur improve their approach, change their business plan, and be more ready for success in their next venture. This theory isn't about looking for problems to solve. It's about changing how we deal with the problems that life will inevitably bring our way. The Stoic doesn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, they ask, "What can I learn from this?" This change in thinking takes us from being victims to having control and power over our lives. It's important to remember that progress often feels uncomfortable when you follow this concept. When we face a tough problem or leave our comfort zone, we feel uncomfortable. But these feelings are not signs of failure, but of growth and success. The mind and spirit need to be put to the test to get stronger, just like the body needs to be worked out to get stronger. But seeing the value in problems goes beyond helping you grow as a person. It also makes you more humble and patient. It shows us that good things don't always come quickly, and that we often need to put in time and effort to reach our goals. The Stoics knew that life is a race, not a sprint, and that it is a virtue to be able to keep going even when things get hard. This Stoic principle also tells us to change how we think about success. Success isn't having no problems. It's being able to keep going even when things get hard. The important thing is not that the trip goes smoothly, but that you are strong and flexible during it. In order to put this idea into practice in our daily lives, we might need to reflect on the problems we encountered and how we solved them each night. Were we patient and creative when we talked to them? Have we been able to calm down and learn something new? Have we found a way to make a bad situation better? In a wider sense, seeing the worth in problems means accepting that life isn't perfect. People know that a well-lived life will have many challenges, but that these challenges are not breaks in our journey, but important parts of it. In the end, they form who we are, test our resolve, and add to our story in ways that easy wins could never. If you follow this rule, you will be open to all the different parts of life. It's important to know that the biggest successes are often obtained through the toughest challenges. The key is to keep going forward, not in spite of the problems, but because of them. You see, this is how we not only get through the hard times, but also find the strength and wisdom they can give us. Rule 6. Look for ways to grow when things go wrong. Stoicism teaches that problems are not only a normal part of life, but also a chance to grow as a person. In the face of difficulties, the Stoics thought, we can cultivate our best virtues. As Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." This principle tells us to find strength in hardship and let it make us stronger and smarter. There are many kinds of trouble. It could be the constant stress of a hard job, the hurt of a loss, or the anger of not being able to reach a goal. For a Stoic, these are not just bad things that have to be dealt with. They are chances to show virtues like courage, patience, and endurance. Think about the problems a worker would face in a very tough and competitive setting. The stress and pressure could make you give up, or they could help you become stronger, learn to keep your integrity when others might break it, and find peace within yourself amidst the chaos. To grow in hard times, we also need to change how we think about what it means to face problems. It doesn't matter if we face problems or not. What matters is how we handle them. Every task is a question, and the way our heroes answer it is the answer. This Stoic concept tells us to think about how to react in a way that helps us grow and learn. In real life, changing the way you talk to yourself can help you grow when things are hard. When something bad happens, we shouldn't ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, we should ask, "What can this teach me?" Or, "How can I use this experience to become better?" This changes the way we think about pain and turns it into an active goal of virtue. If you follow this concept, you also have to accept that failure is a part of success, not the opposite of it. For those who are willing to look for it, every loss is the start of something good. The Stoics didn't fear failing. They saw it as an important step on the path to wisdom. This concept is more important than ever in our fast-paced world, where bad things can seem to happen all the time. Entrepreneurs who use what they've learned from a bad business to make something new and better show this trait. It is clear when an athlete comes back to training with more focus and drive after losing. Individuals who choose to see life's challenges not as problems to be solved, but as ways to gain more knowledge and skills have it. It's not enough to just get through hard times. You need to thrive because of them in order to grow. It's about writing a story about your life that values being strong and able to change and get through tough times. It's about realizing that hard times don't make us who we are. They make us better. We could keep a book to record and reflect on the challenges we face and the lessons we learn from them in order to incorporate this concept into our lives. As we know that growth often comes from being uncomfortable, we can set goals for ourselves that push us out of our comfort zones. There are many stories and cases of people who have changed their problems into strengths, and we can learn from their experiences. In the end, finding growth in hardship means using the natural power of life's problems to help you grow as a person. This idea doesn't make pain less real. Instead, it gives us the power to find meaning and strength in it. By following this Stoic lesson, we can not only handle life's storms with ease, but also with a spirit that gets stronger with each one that passes. Seventh principle: grow your personal wealth. For the Stoics, inner wealth was very important. This is the kind of treasure that neither moth nor rust can ruin. They thought that developing virtues like self-discipline, courage, wisdom, and fairness were important for living a good life. Seneca was one of many people who said that having few wants is more important than having many things. This principle tells us to think about what's important to us and invest in the kind of wealth that makes our lives better from the inside out. It's easy to get caught up in the allure of money and success in the outside world these days. Advertisements, social media, and cultural stories often say that having things and being popular will make you happy. But the Stoic principle tells us that success in the outside world can make us happy for a short time, but it doesn't mean we'll be happy in the long run. The virtues that make up our character and lead our deeds are what give us real and long-lasting happiness. Imagine the story of a person who has achieved a lot of financial success but still feels empty and unsatisfied. Then they might start a path of self-discovery and learn to enjoy the easy things in life, like the fun of learning, the happiness of helping others, and the peace that comes from accepting themselves. They learn through this process that their worth is not based on how much money they have, but on how rich their character is and how good their relationships are. Developing inner wealth means being thankful for what we have instead of focusing on what we don't have or what other people do. Realizing how lucky we are and finding happiness in the present is what it's all about. When we are grateful, we stop thinking about what we don't have and start thinking about what we do have. Being able to rely on yourself is also important for this concept. The Stoics thought that depending on outside events to make us happy was a dangerous way to live. Instead, they told people to be happy with themselves, no matter what was going on in the outside world. We depend less on the outside world for our well-being when we build inner strength and endurance. In reality, developing inner wealth may entail daily thoughts on our gratefulness. It could mean being generous not only with money, but also with time, energy, and understanding. It could mean setting aside time to do things that help you grow as a person, like reading, relaxing, or having deep talks. This concept also shows us that we shouldn't measure our success by the things we've done for other people, but by how much we've grown as people inside. Can we wait a little longer than we did last year? Do we handle our anger better? Have our ability to understand and care for others grown? These are what a Stoic thinks success looks like. When it comes to not caring and letting go, this idea helps us stop wanting more all the time, like a bigger house, a newer car, or a better-paying job. Instead, find happiness in virtue and the simple things in life. Building a life that feels rich on the inside is more important than making sure it looks rich to other people. We might need to change our ideas about what rich means in order to apply this theory to our daily lives. We can make habits that are good for our souls, like writing in a book, helping others, or spending time in nature. To remember ourselves that we can be happy with less, we can also give up some of our favorite things every once in a while. When you live your life according to Stoic virtues, you gain inner riches, which you should recognize and value. It's about finding happiness that isn't tied to the constantly changing outside world, but to the fixed things in our own lives and the choices we make. By focusing on these inner riches, we can learn to stop worrying about outward validation and stop looking for more, which will help us live a life of genuine happiness and peace. In conclusion, adopting Stoicism in the present day. As we go through these 7 Stoic principles, it becomes clear how this old philosophy can still provide us with timeless wisdom for today. Stoicism is not an old set of ideas. Instead, it gives us useful tools for dealing with the difficulties and problems we face in today's world. These principles help us cultivate inner peace, fortitude, and a deep sense of satisfaction that is not influenced by outward events. The first step on the Stoic path is to figure out what we can control and let go of what we can't. Setting the stage for a life lived with purpose and focus starts with this basic idea. We learn to value life's passing beauty and get more out of our situations when we live in the present. When we accept that change is going to happen, we can flow with life's natural rhythms, which makes resistance and pain less likely. Being non-attached to results frees us from the chains of expectations and lets us find joy and worth in the trip itself. By seeing the value in problems, we can turn them into chances to learn and grow, giving us the strength and wisdom to overcome difficulties. Looking for growth in tough situations makes us stronger by showing us that every loss can help us move forward. The desire of inner riches changes our focus from outward validation and material wealth to the long-term fulfillment that comes from personal virtue and important relationships. We start to see changes in our lives as we adhere to these ideals. We become more flexible, rooted, and in touch with ourselves. We stay cool in the midst of chaos and have a clear sense of purpose that helps us make choices and act. As we pay more attention and understand others, our relationships get stronger. We get stronger, which lets us handle the hard things in life with courage and style. To sum up, Stoicism is more than just a philosophy. It's also a way to live a good life. It shows us how to stop worrying about things that aren't important or that won't last, and how to stop trying to control things that are out of our control. Instead, it helps us focus on what really matters, what we do, how we react, and who we are as a person. When we follow these Stoic ideas, we realize that the way to peace and happiness is not through external accomplishments or belongings, but through our choices, attitudes, and personal growth. Getting away from the world is not the point of this trip. The point is to interact with it more fully, carefully, and with a deep love for the present moment. Stoicism is a light of clarity and simplicity in a world that is often ruled by wealth and constant distractions. Taking on its lessons will help us handle life's challenges with steadiness and peace of mind. We learn to value the variety of our situations, the difficulties we face, and the strength of our bonds with each other. Stoicism takes us not only to a life of endurance, but also to a life with deep meaning and purpose.